lovers of the market over here. The market is the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when the prices are down cheap, it's not like anybody's complaining about it then, right?
No.
And that's the market we're in right now. Obviously when there's no chips going in some of these trucks, we can't produce the trucks what we normally do. Well, folks can't buy trucks and then trade their trucks in, and that's what's creating this deficit.
Correct.
And what about are you seeing any like the oil fields? Are those folks coming in trying to buy trucks again?
There's some of it. We don't see a whole lot of it because where we're located, most of it's out of our Fort Worth stores or Oklahoma or South Dallas, South Fort Worth. They don't really come to see Dallas that much. But it's picking up a little bit. Not like it used to be, though.
Yeah, I always wonder, because to me that's a market that people can come in and pay. They don't care what the price is. And let me ask you this question right now: people that are buying the used trucks, even in the past, what I've heard is that we got to run the credit, but now it's like they're coming in with some cash, right? I mean, are you? It's easier
40,
to finance them.
20, yeah, they're coming on cash. I don't know where they're getting it.
Bitcoin?
Maybe they sell their Bitcoin. I don't know.
And the market's actually favorable. And one of the great things is, and I think that also plays into what you're doing. The market's favorable for whoever's out there, whatever independent contractors out there. Their ability to make more is there. So their ability to pay more is there, right?
Yep.
So it
Right.
kind of balances out in that respect. But my question is, I'm surprised when they hit the yard. You're saying it doesn't matter what truck, what make, what model. When they get to you, they're gone.
Yeah. We have customers waiting.
Wow.
Take the truck and figure out what you're going to do with the
Right.
land,
Right.
I don't care what color. I don't care what color, what make, what model, what year. What do you got?
We're getting them pre-approved. So when they come in, all we have to do is send the new VIN number and.
Wow.
Yep.
So I do have a question.
Speed up the process
In a normal market, let's just say when people aren't just taking whatever they can get, hey, is there a certain color that's a hot seller or that people stay away from?
White's always been the most popular.
Gotcha. Even on the used truck?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. I was wondering if that did make a difference or not. Nobody wants a purple truck, I guess.
No, but hey, you got that independent guy that likes the different colors, wants to be different.
That's Drive Safe Day. What's your color?
Blue.
Blue.
Blue's my
Blue's
favorite.
good.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of a blue. Hey, so we buy a used truck. We spend $40,000 more for that truck than we did last year. What about the parts? What about the service? Are we having are there issues getting these trucks serviced, or if a fuel filter? We're seeing a lot of things that there's shortages of. Are you any word on that?
The only thing I see are chips. It's the depth sensor is the big issue right now. They're trying to get some fixes for through Cummins and through PACCAR, Detroit, where they've gotten around the EPA, but the manufacturers like Cummins haven't agreed to do it yet, is what I've been told. We're supposed to have a fix by the 15th to just bypass it until we get the filters in stock or the sensors in stock.
So we're saying that the mandated law of the DEF system, we're going to be able to bypass that here shortly?
The only thing they're going to bypass is it's a DEF quality sensor. So it's a sensor that tells you.
NOx sensor?
No, it's a sensor that tells you how much DEF you have in your tank, the quality of it, and the temperature of it. So it doesn't regulate anything on the EPA side.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So it's just saying, hey, that part's going out, so it's saying, hey, we got a problem, and it shuts you down. Because if your DEF quality is bad, then what happens to your system?
Right.
It corrodes. Then you've got a $25,000 repair.
Woo, boy, I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna do something real quick. We're gonna test a little bit of knowledge inside of this place. And if you're out there watching right now, you can participate. Type your answer out here. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show you. And you're the expert. You're giving us the answer. We're going to show you a truck that has 400,000 miles on it. It's a 2016 KW, and here it comes right now. Vanna, if you want to share the truck with us here.
What year is it?
It's a 2016 KW. It's sitting on the lot right now. Vanna, you're looking awfully nice there. I like the look. Drive Safe Dave, 2016. KW, 400,000 miles, automatic. They have automatics in 2016.
Automatic. Cummins ISX?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go 10 speed, just regular 10 speed. I'm going to go $85,000.
$85,000. Hey, listen, I want your number as well. Type it out. Here it is. It's a 2016 ISX Cummins.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, give me your price. Give me your price on what that is. And here's what we're going to do. You can't go over, and it's the closest one too. And we have $200 to the winner.
All right.
Unless it's Drive Safe Dave.
It's Drive Safe
it's
Dave.
no good.
It's no good.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Hey, we're going to go to a Vanna. I appreciate that. You got that price ready to go? Don't
I'm
say
ready.
it yet.
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to have that price ready to go here in just a minute. We're going to take a break for about 45 seconds and come back to you with an answer. You still have time. Email it to bcblive@bcbtransport.com or type it out right here on the message queue. Give us your price for that 2016. It's worth $200. You got to make sure this guy right here does not win. We'll see you in 45 seconds. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We left here with a presentation from Vanna White. You know what, Vanna, first, we appreciate you making your way to Mansfield, Texas to be part of the safest station in the nation. We're going to give you that price, but first, we're going to give you the one that may have been the furthest away. Buckle up, Bob. Our own safety director comes in with a price of $56,000. Hey, buckle up. Stay in your lane, baby. Stay in your lane.
You don't buy trucks.
But we do have a winner. Before we announce the winner, what is that price?
$80,000.
$80,000. Producer, help us out. Did anybody get close without going over?
We got Brian Thompson coming in with $79,000 and $79,500.
Wow. $500.
You know what? Don't steal them from us, all right? He's going to try to get Brian's number. There's a guy that knows trucks. Hey, Brian.
Looking up his Twitter.
Great. You're going to have a new follower on your Twitter account. $200 to Brian. Great job on that, Brian. Anything, what are you seeing for the end of the year or the first quarter? Do you see the market at all on that used trucks changing?
Well, they're saying they're going to start producing again and delivering in first quarter. So if that happens, then we'll see the value start to come down a little.
Gotcha. So when we produce in first quarter, we don't see the used trucks until the end of the first quarter, beginning of second quarter. Man, we have and then it's just in time for peak season again, right?
So it's going to maintain. It'll drop a little and then maintain throughout the rest of the year if production continues.
Wow. And and we're so reliant on the chips and Drive Safe. You talked about it. We've got Taiwan shutting down again.
Yep.
The semiconductors, we've got to find a way to get those going. I know we're starting to create them here in the United States, but 4 years is an awful long time
to wait on.
We don't have 4 years.
To wait on my cable box to be fixed.
Hey, Mike, we appreciate you being on the
Thanks,
show.
guys, for having me.
Always,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for being here. You're more than welcome to come back anytime.
All right.
We have some owner-operators on that watch this show as well. If they want to get a hold of you, if they want to maybe sell the truck, upgrade the truck, or when you start getting trucks in again, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can contact me through email.
Gotcha. And that is?
Mike.hanshaw@mhc.com, just like it's spelled on the screen there.
There we go. Mike.hanshaw@mhckenworth.com. If you have anything.
It's not Sir Mike.
It's not Sir.
It's not Sir Mike. Good one.
You know what? We'll get you a name next time you're on here. We love the repeat visitors because it does give us an ability to talk to our folks out here, to give them an update on what's going on in their market. A lot of drivers out here watching, company owner operators, and it's important that out there what you're going to pay for a truck right now. The prices are considerably higher. And Drive Safe Dave, when we talk in our industry about buying a truck, you can say, well, the rates are crazy now, but oftentimes you're buying a truck and you're not going to pay for it in a year.
No,
You know, it's that
you're
year
not.
2, 3, and 4 perhaps that you really got to look at and make sure that the stability is going to be there. Make sure you have a truck that's safe. Make sure you have a truck that has the best fuel economy. Mike, man, we appreciate you being on here. Can we get you on here maybe next month?
You bet.
All right, folks. Mike, MHC Kenworth, BCB Live. We'll see you in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live. Drive Safe, Dave. Love when we have the guest on here to inform us, you, myself, our listeners, more importantly, to get them to understand what's happening in this market. It is crazy to think that here we are, we have MHC Kenworth and just not a lot of inventory sitting on these lots. Not much different than I think what you're seeing at Ford,
No.
at GMC,
No.
you're right, at
Yeah.
any of these places.
Absolutely.
The lots are open. They're vacant.
Yeah, it's not, and that's going to continue on until we can get some of these chips in. And the backlog of vehicles, I mean, people are basically ordering. You're just, used to you could go in and drive what you like and then roll out with what you have and do all that. It's no longer now. It's mail order bride. You gotta you can't even see what you love. You gotta order it in advance. You gotta go buy in advance. I think even the producer, right? You got to go order your vehicle. I think he went and ordered a vehicle just the other day because you can't actually go out and drive. You used to fall in love. They'd try to get you in the truck or get you in the car. Can't do that anymore. Now they just flip a page and go, you like this one?
Yeah,
you like this one?
Which one do you want? Exactly. You know what? It's great mail order bride. Great analogy on that. Drive Safe, Dave. We're getting ready for Buckle Up Bob to come in here. And what we love to do is kind of get our minds in that safety mentality. We talk about distractions. We talk about understanding your surroundings. And we have some videos today. And producer, I want you to see the ones that start with the folks walking first and distracted driving. Drive Safe, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. How's that Drive Safe. We started with a little, obviously some comedy at first with the folks walking and trying to text, running into things, and all it takes is your eyes off the sidewalk, your eyes off the stairs as you're walking downstairs, and the gentleman fell down the stairs. All it takes for you is just a few seconds, and bad things happen. And we saw the last one, right? A second, 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. You're texting on that cell phone while you're driving. My God, bad things can happen.
And it's going to continue to be that way. And we've got to realize what the dangers are. And I like the comedy. I like what we're doing. And I like what we're seeing here. It is true. You can't do really two things at once. People talk about their ability, but the brain can't do two things at once. And you're telling yourself, you're not being honest with yourself if you're telling yourself how you're able to drive and text. You're able to do something else and drive. You got to really stay focused on driving if you want to be successful at it.
Yeah, and I'm not next week we have No Cell coming in just to talk, and maybe we'll get them back on the show. We're not here to promote the just No Cell. There's other folks out there who do the same thing, but we are here to promote safety. We are here to say that you've got to do something if you have that problem. If you find yourself texting, if you find yourself picking up that phone, if you find yourself watching movies, updating your Twitter, using, any of those social media.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah.
TikTok. If you find yourself doing that, you need help. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's folks like No Cell. We saw it here that when you're driving X amount of miles, 5 miles an hour or greater, it shuts it. It takes away that temptation.
Yeah, it just pretty much helps you remember that you can't do that. You can't do that, and it doesn't allow you to do it. So we've got to find a better way. We've got to look at a better way. But really, in all honesty, it starts within here, and it starts in your ability to do it behind the wheel. Because it's not just the texting. It's not just, it's all distractions, right?
Yep.
This is one of the biggest ones, right? We're taking a shot at one of the biggest ones, but really we have to remember that all distractions in the vehicle, all of them make it difficult for you to stay focused on the road.
Yeah, and when we talk and we say a prayer, when we do anything, we ask that you become alert. What we're asking for is that you recognize that you're starting to text.
Right.
You may pick that phone up, and it's only too late if you recognize it and you don't put that phone down. When you pick that phone up until it's a habit, you've got to make that action item. You've got to have to go that next step. You've got to recognize you're on the daggum phone. You got to recognize you're texting, you're checking out Facebook, and it's not the time to do it. But it's only a second. There's nobody ahead of me. Well, you don't know that. And Drive Safe Dave, when we're driving 65 miles an hour, 70, how fast a second are we moving? How far?
About 100 feet a second.
100 feet a second.
Yeah. In just 3 seconds, the time it normally takes you to send out a message, you've gone a football field and at the same rate of speed, and you're not even going to be able to stop for a while. So and we see it on the videos. We see it in what we talk about here. We're looking at it. How often do they just cut right in front of you and hit the brake? How often do they pull right out in front of you? How often does somebody come around or a pedestrian step off the sidewalk? How often do you have to be aware at that moment, and we have those close calls because you were paying attention? Close calls are okay if you're paying attention and you do what needs to be done. That's your opportunity to react. That's your opportunity to save a life out there. But can you imagine in your heart of hearts, if you're not doing the right thing, how you're going to feel? If you're not making sure that you're putting the phone down, if you're not making sure that you don't even pick it up, right?
Yep. No doubt.
You've got to find a way in here and in here to do the right thing out there on the road.
Yeah, most of you out there and many companies out there, they mandate you have forward-facing cameras, and those are used to also help identify when you're doing some things. Some folks have the driver-facing as well to give you that identification that tells you, hey, the cell phone's in the hand, but we want to capture these. And when we use videos across this country, what we're using it for is to help educate you and to show you what those distractions are, because until you see it on video, sometimes you don't realize how far you've gone out. And we have a video here of other things as well that we use videos for in this transportation industry. And here we go.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
it's a flop. It's a flop.
So, Drive Safe Dave, this gentleman right here from none other than Louisiana. We see lots and lots of issues in Louisiana. Fakes the fall, calls 911 on top of it, calls the report in, says my hip's hurting, my legs are hurting, I can't get up. All of that he's reporting, only to get the video sent in, and he gets arrested for fraud. Yeah, for fraud.
For an attempted. And you know what? This is just a great example of the cameras protecting the driver, protecting what really goes on. I mean, we here had one of the most explosive moments when a vehicle spun out of control from the left lane and hit one of our trucks in the right lane from behind because it spun all the way around, and we hit it. And at first we were going to get a ticket, but when the policeman saw the video and realized that it had nothing to do, it was absolutely not the driver's fault. The driver didn't get the ticket.
It is Phrase It Pays time. We've already given out $200, and we're going to say the phrase it pays. Is it Thursday?
It is Thursday.
It's Thankful Thursday.
Yeah, why are you breaking the rules?
I was a test for you to see if you
Rule
were awake,
breaker.
because what you didn't do today was give our folks out there, our listening audience, some love. Put your arms in here. Come on in to Big Daddy. Let me give you a hug. We thank you for what you're doing.
Mutant. The mutant.
Hey, we'll be right back in about 35 seconds.
All right.
morning, everybody. It's Buckle Up Bob. Welcome back. Happy Thankful Thursday to each and every driver out there that helps deliver the goods and keeps this country moving. You've heard a lot of places being shut down and not manufacturing and not working, and yet the drivers out there on this Thankful Thursday, we want to thank each and every one of you for keeping up this country during this pandemic. Hey, we got some traffic in the DFW. It looks just about like the normal stuff, if you would. They always say in the Dallas area, if every highway is under construction, and it's really got a lot of truth to it as it grows. More people are moving into the Texas area. So again, you can see a lot of the traffic, mainly this 30 eastbound is usually where a lot of it starts to get back up through the Dallas area and even into Fort Worth. Kansas City looks a little really good this morning. I mean, there's just not a lot going on in the Kansas City area. You can see a lot of green. A lot of the side streets have some traffic jams, but all the main thoroughfares, there's a little stop and go there on 70, but really a good day in Kansas City for those that are driving in that area. Chicago is Chicago, and it is packed, like you can see. Just about every main thoroughfare, as just about every morning, has a lot of traffic, especially this 90-94 and the 290 coming in as well and coming up in the south. Again, Philadelphia, you're under some rain. A lot of showers going on. Got to slow down. And you can see, I mean, there's a lot of traffic back up here in the Philadelphia area. So be mindful of that. You can see the blue here. So there's some rain falling. Slow it down. It's going to be bumper to bumper anyway. You're not going anywhere. It's a good time to demonstrate some patience and keep that spacing between you and that vehicle in front of you. Some areas may be heavy and you're not able to, your visibility may be compromised as well. Atlanta. Hey, Atlanta, typical north and south, and then coming in from the east. Hey, just a reminder on the Atlanta, you must take the loop unless you're delivering in 20, 75, 85, and even the GA 400 are all off limits unless you're delivering into the vicinity. You have to go around the city. You cannot pass through it. It is a Georgia law. So just kind of remind all the drivers out there, if you're in the Atlanta area, hey, unless you're delivering inside the loop, you got to take the loop around the city when you're passing through. And then Nashville, not too bad. Again, the 40 coming from the east, but everywhere else, not just some normal traffic slowdowns. You got a little bit section coming in here from the northeast as well, but overall Atlanta, and you can see some of the rain showers moving in to the area. So in the next hour or so, you could see some even heavier traffic as the rain starts to build up. And speaking of the rain, we have some weather. We'll go. You can kind of see it. There's Larry getting stronger. Still not expected to reach landfall. It's supposed to skirt up here into Canada. You can see the rain we were talking about in the Philadelphia area on the edge there in New Jersey and D.C. area, as well as the South Carolina. The rest of the country, just some scattered showers across Texas and the southeastern portion. Not much else going on. The winds are going to be light for most of the day. Today they will kick up, unfortunately, for the California area. And then again tomorrow, it really gets windy up there for the fires. But hopefully, as we'll see here with the rain and thunder that comes after, the winds come after the rain potential. So there you can see some rain. Hopefully it'll really dampen everything and get it nice and wet, and so that the winds won't have such a big effect on those fires. Speaking of which, they really stayed the same. The Caldor fire grew about 300 to 400 acres, and the Dixie fire grew about 700 acres. So really, that's a lot, but you can see compared to how big they are at over 1.25 million between the two, that's some slowing progress. The percentage of containment stayed the same, so they didn't lose much ground as well. So again, some winds pick up for tomorrow, but we can just be kind of ready for the Friday in the afternoon. You can kind of see out there in the northwest, but for most of the country out there, we're going to still you're going to see some light winds for the rest of this week anyway, and same for the rain. The northwest, we need it out there. Florida could see some, but you can see the rest of the country should be pretty dry for the next 48 hours or so. Hey, we'll take a quick break and be right back with some safety.
welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. And buckle up, Bob. What we learned definitely today, outside of the weather, outside of the news, is you should never have a job selling trucks. You would be fired tomorrow if you sold a truck for $56,000 that's going for $80.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do that if I had the information.
I'll take one or two of them.
I'll take 3.
You know, it's funny because back in my earlier days, I sold cars. And I was the #1 salesman for 3 months in a row. But I also knew I got proof. Oh, I could do it. I did. And so, again,
Participation award, sir, Rick.
But then again, you have the information. You know what they're asking for. Too,
you got a blue ribbon? Did you get a blue ribbon?
Yeah. Yep. Sold them to some hockey players. I sold some cars too. Actually, my favorite customer was a.
Well, they thought they were buying it from a legend too, right? They thought they were buying it from Roberto Duran. You know, like,
That's right.
Man, I bought a car from Roberto Duran. You'll never believe it.
Yeah. My favorite was a guy that was at D-Day, and that was, man, it was a fun because I love history, and so I was talking to him. But yeah, I guess I would have lost some money for the dealership on that truck, obviously.
Hey, but we showed some videos before one of our breaks, and they're going over distracted drive, and we saw the folks that were walking, and then obviously the devastation on the end when the young lady was texting and driving, and no chance, I don't think she lives through that. And then we saw the Louisiana, right, and the importance of dash cams, especially when you're going through states like Louisiana, because they are known to have a little bit of fraud in that state. You know, and it goes all the way up. I mean, people jumping in front of trucks, causing accidents. Here we go. You know, we're now walking in front of the Teslas, you know, and fake falling and calling 911, sticking with the story. And buckle up, Bob, it just shows that, you know, 2 things. That number 1, distractions are real, right? And number 2, there is so much value in these cameras that we have.
There is. There's a lot of value. And some of our the drivers out there can attest because they're going through frivolous lawsuits themselves as they, you know, from people that claim some, you know, and some of it, even without a camera, you know, there's one that I remember. The lady said she was second in line and that a truck hit the car in front of her and sucked her in. But then she claimed injuries that said she was pushed forward. I'm like, well, you can't. If you're dragged, you're going to fly back, not forward.
That vacuum effect. That's one of those.
I said, physics says that's impossible, but yet this lady claims up and down. Yeah.
It sucked me back in.
Yeah. Just sucked. And, you know, and what was funny was, according to the report, the vehicle that was in the front never reported a claim. So the truck never really hit them. But you could see in the pictures that she sent in on this claim was that she rear-ended them. They started to move, stop because the truck was making a left turn, no contact. She wasn't paying attention and rear-ended him, then tried to say she was sucked in.
Sucked in.
So
I can't stop. I can't stop.
Force just pulled me.
Force the vortex.
So
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
So, but it is out there, and it just shows the importance of the cameras, things, especially maybe even as the industry moves forward to side cameras, view cameras that would have shown all that as well. And we, you know, you bring up a great point of distraction. And so I want to, again, tease everybody about tuning in tomorrow because as we've been talking about tailgate, we actually get to what lawsuits we'll talk about tomorrow a little bit and how lawyers are using some of this tailgating and especially the topic today. How do you respond to tailgaters? One of the most common things is to brake check them. We've seen it on videos here where other vehicles have come in front of trucks and then brake checked them. A lot of states have laws where that's illegal. It's an actual law. But even the states that don't have the law, they have what they call, it is still considered reckless driving.
Absolutely.
And so they will get you on that, even if they don't have a specific law. And so I just kind of want to define what the states define as reckless driving, right? And it's driving a motor vehicle with a willful or wanton disregard for the safety of people, other people, or property. And when you brake check, that's what they're saying they're doing it. And they are also now attributing that brake checking, tailgating is considered aggressive or road rage. And so, again, we're going to talk a little bit more of how the lawyers are using that analogy and them classifications against drivers in lawsuits as well as coming up. So really important, you know, stay tuned for tomorrow and get more of that. But again, the laws that the states do have, you can receive up to a $200 fine or up to 30 days in jail for tailgating and for brake checking as well. So you got to just, I know it's an attempt to say, hey, I didn't appreciate that, but you know what? I think Drive Safe Dave always says, let stupid go, right? Just let the idiots, crazy be crazy, and let them go. Don't worry about brake checking. You know, just, hey, go past them, and if they cut you off, you know what? Wave and say thank you, you know, because, I mean, they're just not thinking, and they're endangering lives out there. And again, we talk all the time on this show about drivers. We have to protect life. That's the goal. No matter what, it's not about fault. It's not about anything but preventing and protecting life. That's what you've got to get into. No matter what the law says, do the right thing. And we're going to, you know, as we see some videos today later on, we're going to see a lot of drivers doing the right thing. But it is Thankful Thursday. I do want to thank each driver out there. Again, we are at 114 days as a safe driving out there for all you drivers. Great job out there. I mean, 114 days is not, and again, we're in the 4th dangerous month. So don't forget and let your guard down as we go through the month of September. It's still dangerous out there. And then get ready for the hurricanes because it is peak hurricane season now in the Atlantic. And that's what we're starting to see already with Larry. And there's a bunch of activity coming off of Africa also for the next couple of weeks.
All right, man. We have we doing videos?
We are doing some videos.
All right, let's see some videos on this thing. Oh no.
Pre-trip,
No.
right? Man, hey, as somebody that's been parked in a legal parking area at a gate and a truck came up and the wind grabbed the door and cracked my windshield. So you stop and think, if a car goes by, that car on the left, I wouldn't be there because you can't guarantee the other door isn't going to be pulled open and smack that car. But great job by this driver. Look at it. Immediate letting the space go. That truck passed him. So the speed was like, look at everybody going away. This driver cannot be involved in any kind of accident because the speed's down and everybody is moving away from them.
Yeah, and drive safe. When I see this right here, it reminds me of a driver, leaving a dock perhaps, and the dockman goes up there, closes the door, says, "I got you. You're good to go." Drive safe, Dave. When that happens, do you ever feel comfortable that the door was shut all the way?
No, absolutely not.
You want to check it yourself still, right?
Absolutely. You want to make sure the seal's on there. You want to
Thank
make
you.
sure that you want to do your check. It's not, that guy is not you. That guy is not the professional. That's like allowing somebody from the stands to come down and make the free throws in the winning point of the game. Only let the professionals do it out there on the court, right? Only let the professionals do it out here when you're out there, and you are the professional. So get out, make sure your truck's ready, make sure it's right. You know, out here on the highway, I'm more concerned about what's in the box, what may come out of the box. That door right there, it's not going to flip around. You wouldn't have the human strength to push that out there into the wind. Well, but when he comes to a stop, it will swing.
There you
so
go.
You got to make sure, you got to be really careful about what's going on here. And this is a CB call. Hey, this is a CB call, because if you could get this guy on the CB and let him know, close your door, buddy. You got a rear tail that you didn't think you had.
And here, this is, again, we talk a lot on this show about legal, right, or fault versus preventability. And so, again, was the driver in the wrong going through a yellow? No, it's not illegal. But was it the safest thing to do? And it's an intersection. We've seen cars run the red lights from the other direction. So you've got to just be mindful of that. Just patience. Practice patience. Again, driver didn't do anything illegal per se, but again, you want to be patient in this. The only reason to go through this yellow light, because the speed is there, it's yellow already, and you can see the kind of acceleration. It was just a matter of not wanting to get caught there at the light. And you're going to see a similar situation where the driver stops, not speeding up, keeps that space in case somebody checks up, light turns yellow, red, quickly, and able to stop. Right? This is a little bit busier intersection, so great job again by the driver. What I love about this is the lights turn, and look, this driver doesn't get up on the gas and get right up in there to hopefully make it. Keeps the space. Hey, it was a pretty quick light.
No, I'm going to say, and great patience for the driver, because 4 vehicles is all that went through that light.
Yes.
First of all, come on, last a little bit longer.
Yeah,
At least let
come
6
on,
or 7.
City.
But no, great patience on that driver, knowing full well now that he or she's going to have to wait for the complete cycle to get to make that left-hand turn.
Yeah, we need to call Tyler, Texas. That's where it happened. Have them extend that light for the left turn.
Oh, is that on the loop? Is that on the loop?
I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but great job by the driver here. Again, hey, you never know who's out there watching. It may not be camera, but there's Big Blue right? Not our Big Blue, but another Big Blue, watching the curves. And this driver, again, great speed. You can just see how creeping along on that curve. Don't know if they saw the officer or not, but officer's sitting right there. Don't know if he's taking a nap or if he's actually trying to catch people on that
drive
curve.
safe. I'm going to say if there's somebody in that police car there, that they're there to look for the people going too fast around that curve.
That's
I mean,
what
else are they there for?
They probably had some incidents there, and recently, and so they'll step up their surveillance, if you will, on some danger hotspots.
There's
job.
Any number of reasons there. He could be positioning himself to radar the highway out of the way. But I would agree with you. Right here, he's monitoring this curve, monitoring what's going on.
Yeah, he could be actually checking,
Yeah,
putting the gun out the side and catching that truck.
Absolutely.
That just
Jumping on
went by.
I mean, but if a vehicle's
Nobody
going
sees
too
them.
fast on that,
Yeah.
they may go right into him as well. So I'm going to say, hey, DOT, hey, back off a little bit off that highway.
Yeah, if he loses control, he's going that way, right? Not to the inside usually.
Usually, though, when you come around and you see that, usually when you got that kind of indication of that there's somebody there, the professionals know what I'm talking about. We're going slow. We're going to make sure that we're all good. And you know what? We do that quick. That we see that and we do that quick seat belt. You feel reach over, you just make sure that's there, and you make sure you got both hands on the wheel. Yeah, you make sure you got a lot going on, and you're already. By the way, you're already on the CB. 5 seconds after this with a calling out, letting everybody know there's a bear close by. But I'm just saying, you got
Now, this last video, folks, we're going to watch this a couple times, and then we'll just talk about it. But this is really crazy, and there's a lot here. And, man, I tell you what, love this driver. Hey, I'm not sure.
Drive safe, Dave, have you seen this video yet?
No.
All right, so watch the video here. This is another stale green light, right? He's going, the traffic's going across. Waits too late to see the light, puts the brakes on, and he's in the middle of the freeway. Or middle of the highway or the road there. What are you thinking on this drive safe?
I'm just thinking he stopped too late. He did come to a complete stop, but he's this isn't what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're genuinely prepared and you're paying attention.
There's your answer, producer. What are you seeing over there on this video? Watch it again.
So I'm seeing a completely flipped around light, if I'm not mistaken here, because it looks like on the left-hand side here, right up there, that light is not even facing the driver's side.
Where's this guy's
here.
light at? Where's his light at?
Way to be situational aware there, drive safe.
Wow.
Where is the light? Buckle up, Bob.
Oh, man. Well, we'll pause it here about right here. Now, what happened was, this is in Louisiana and after Ida.
Oh.
The pole in our lane, in the left lane there, or in this lane, is actually spun around. It's supposed to be facing to the left. The other pole
Greatness.
on the right is actually the pole that's supposed to be for this direction, and you can see the two stoplights are up in the air. Talk about some wind that came through Louisiana. This is Laplace, Laplace, Louisiana, at the intersection
I'm
there.
surprised these poles aren't
So
down.
go up a little further, go up a little bit more, stop it right there. So drive safe. Look, all the lights are placed in the wrong place. There's no stop signs anywhere. It's obviously probably a four-way stop in here, but there's nothing up.
No.
And I'm going to say situational awareness is that what a phenomenal job to this driver here to recognize that, whoa, something's wrong.
Right.
You know, why is this car crossing over? Then they all realize that, hey, nobody's got the green light. Nobody has seen a red light here since the hurricane.
Yeah, I take that's great. I didn't
Love
see
the setup.
No, that's greatness. You know what's nice about this is not only is everybody stopping at this intersection and doing that. In reality, the 4-lane median highway actually has right of way in this moment, but everybody's stopping and making sure that it's safe. That's a great job going on right here by every single person in the intersection.
Yeah, and I know stopping on a throughway may be dangerous, but I'm just going to tell you, many accidents, when you ask the driver, well, what would have happened if you just stopped? And it's like, well, probably the accident wouldn't have happened. And I think in this case, man, like you said, something's not right. All the lights are discombobulated.
Wow.
So I'm just going to stop and make
Neat video.
sure
Great video.
that I take speed out of it, and then we'll see what goes on after that. So great job by that driver. But you had to watch that several times.
You really did. I mean,
Yeah.
it was to the unprofessional eye.
Yes.
You know, you may miss that, but to a trained professional,
Wow.
you know, a trained safety person that
Yeah.
gets it, You know what? We caught it right off the cuff. But
Well, and it shows that three
Have
out
you
of
seen the video? That's what I was great.
it shows the point too that
Prep work.
that 3 out of every 4 people in a room are safety minded. There's always the 25% that isn't.
Don't go there. Do not enter.
do not enter. Do not enter there. Hey, we have any questions, comments on that?
Oh, I thought for
and I would
sure.
love to have had that driver on the show that had that light, because just again, phenomenal on the situation, right? Phenomenal on the awareness and drive safe, Dave. It just goes to show we must always keep our eyes open. We've seen ambulances fall off of flatbeds. We've seen people crossing over the highway, chasing somebody, chasing a dog. We've now seen lights facing the wrong way that nobody can see.
Upside down, spun around, everything. I'm surprised those poles were still up.
I am too. Apparently, they make them so they can move and not get tore up.
Wow,
But yeah, that
pretty
was
amazing.
some pretty strong wins. Who we got?
Yeah, we got David Mason and Gerald Koenig on the line. So, David Mason, what do you got for us today, sir?
Morning, Mr. Mason.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to say, talking earlier about the tailgating and brake checking and stuff, what I do when I get a tailgater is usually if I know they're there, sometimes if it's night and I can see their headlights and they're really close to me, is I get to the slow lane and I just start slowing down until I reach sometimes the minimum speed on the interstate. Now, if they're going to tailgate, they can do it slow, and that helps me and them.
Great point.
No,
Love
that's
it.
a phenomenal point.
Yeah.
And I, and when we were talking about tailgating, I was actually thinking in my mind us tailgating somebody else. But to Mr. Mason's point there, recognizing when somebody's tailgating you and trying to get them just to get around you. Drive safe, Dave. You'll often say, get off the road, get you a Pepsi and a hot dog.
That's right. Make sure get away from the crazy, get away from the moment, get away out of the time. You don't want to, and what David's talking about, he's talking about not hitting the brake, not brake checking
Right,
them.
just
What
letting
he's talking, letting the momentum lag out, and that way the driver sees that, you know what, maybe this isn't where I want to be. I want to move out of the way. And what's really hard in what David's talking about, especially those headlights, if you can't see the vehicle behind you, if you can't see them in your mirrors, they're really too close to you, and you got to really, you want to make sure that. And I understand what he's doing. Let's always watch the road in front of us and protect the area in front of us and to the sides of us. There's not a lot you can do on what's behind you. There's really not a lot you can control back behind you. If you can, make sure they can see you. Make sure that you have lighting back there, and make sure they are aware of your presence.
Drive safe. Any chance we're sucking that vehicle up? To the back of us? No. fake news again.
Yeah. Hey, always be mindful that there's crazies out there, and if they're tailgating you, once you slow down and they go around you, they may, for whatever reason, be stupid and then brake check you. So just be ready for that. Just let stupid be stupid.
All right, Gerald, what you got for us, buddy? Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know you were not the worst one on the price of that truck. I was lower than you, so don't have me selling your trucks nowadays.
Thank you, Gerald, buddy. I appreciate you letting me off the
Wow,
hook
why
there,
did you
brother.
call and admit that, Gerald? You
Well, it is what it is. Also, Bob, you get a chance. Look, I sent a video in this morning. They're on I-10, just east of San Antonio. Somehow or another, some big truck went down where the overpass is. He hit that concrete, went in the middle, hit the concrete, and it is just the biggest ball of flame. It had just happened. So terrible accident.
So I'm going to just talk, we're going to kind of move on that. And I think it was Nebraska, if I remember right, but there's a $50,000 bond on a driver right now that, again, I believe Nebraska, that kind of did what he's just talking about here, except he hit somebody, killed somebody, and kept going down a mile. And they're blaming that on distracted. He was completely distracted, kept going for a mile, pulls over, in jail, obviously, with the death of 2 people in a vehicle. So just, I don't know what else to say, and other than distractions are real.
It's a battle that every driver has to fight every day to make sure that they stay focused.
Especially when you're driving for so long.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, we can't help but get in our phones, and we're going home for 30 minutes, an hour, 10 minutes, and we want to get on the phone. You're driving for hours. Life is going on, and it's hard, dare I say, for that temptation when you hear bing, Bing. I mean, how do you say no? I don't know any way you can, because your life is that important to each and every one of us, and our family lives are that important, and everybody out there, boy, lives are that important. We need you to make sure you're staying focused and putting away those distractions. Buckle up, Bob. You want to close us out with a prayer?
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, as we talk a lot about distracted and protecting the precious life that you've granted each and every one of us, Lord, let's just keep our focus on you and nothing else. No distractions out there, Lord. There's nothing more important than being safe and protecting the precious life that you granted each and every one. We pray for those that were involved in the accident this morning, that somehow they live, Lord, and that no loss of life happens. We pray for the continued wisdom and heart change of each and every driver out on the highway, Lord, that they make the safe decisions as we saw in the videos, Lord, that protect life, the space, the speed reduction. All these things contribute to protecting life. Lord, let us not forget those who need you today. Scott's daughter, as she improves, our brother Larry, and all those that are fighting serious illnesses, Lord, as the pandemic seems to be on the rise, and other illnesses that have been out there for a long time continually to take ones that we love, Lord, and to affect our lives. Lord, let us keep our eyes focused on you and your son, Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Hey, thank you for watching BCB Live. For some of you, you'll lose connection here, but those with BCB Transport, hey, stay on the line, because coming up next is our driver interview with Drive Safe Dave, talking a little bit about BCB Transport. Looking forward to it. We'll see you all this afternoon. God bless and stay safe.
Tell me when you're ready.
What's up? I'm ready.
All right, here we go. All right, everybody, and hey, welcome to Thankful Thursday, and we are here celebrating another day with another driver, and an opportunity to get to know somebody else out there on the road. And by the way, we're celebrating it today with a former dispatcher, return driver, and back out there on the road. It is the famous Jack Renfro. What's going on, Jack?
What's up, man? Everything good. Just sitting down here in Waco trying to finish out my load.
Okay. And so here we are. And real quick, just so you know, I just got a couple of quick questions for you. Just kind of go over some few things. Number one, how long you been driving a truck? I'm curious. When did you start driving a truck?
February 4th, 2004.
And
So
17
February will be
years
18
later,
years.
17 years later, here you are. What exciting did you do before driving a truck? Did you do anything that was just, wow, amazing? Did you do anything that, what did you do, no or yes?
I mean, like warehouse work. I did a little bit of everything: warehousing, restaurant, electrical, plumbing, tow truck driver. I did pretty much everything. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh, okay. Somebody told me you might have been a firefighter at some point, but I don't know. That's not a real story. That's not a true story.
That's an outfit, but due to needing to keep it PG, I can't put it on the show.
Did you? So in 2004, you started driving a truck. Was that when you started driving a tow truck, or you started driving a tow truck in 2004?
No, I drove a tow truck a couple different times. I did light duty in 2002 to 2003, and then after I got my CDL, I think it was 2005 or 2006. I did a little bit of heavy duty towing, but other than that, I've pretty much just done flatbed and dry van and reefer.
Have you done most of the 48?
No, you can pretty much take 35, draw it all the way up to Minnesota. Pretty much everything east of that, minus the stuff north of New York, and then Texas or New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado.
Oh yeah, well that's not too bad. And hey,
Yeah,
so
me-
So you had, and then you came in. You worked
Me
in
and
the office for a
California
little
don't
bit.
agree with each other.
Do what now?
I said me and California don't agree with each other.
Yeah, you know, it's a different world, a different place. It's a different time. I mean, it's just a different place. It
Yeah.
always has. It just always has been. So, I got my favorite. Okay, where's your most favorite place to stop to eat while you're out there on the road? I'm just curious.
Oh. My favorite spot, and I don't get by it very often. There's this little hole in the wall, and when I say hole in the wall, I mean it's like out of a old catering trailer, barbecue joint out in Garden City, Texas.
What's the name of it?
Hole in the wall? I don't know. I stopped in there, got some barbecue.
Were you just
That's some of the
hungry, or
best
was it
dang
that
barbecue
good?
I've ever had.
Were you just hungry, or was
I
it
know
that
how
good?
to get to it.
Um,
Do what?
I said, were you just hungry, or was it that good? Or a little of both.
Um, no, it was just that good.
Oh wow. Probably gonna have. I like a good place to eat. You know that. I always like to check. So you have so you've been back. You've been back driving for a little bit, enjoying it. I'm sure, doing well. And as an owner operator, right? You're one of the owner operators here at BCB.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been technically? How long have you been at BCB? If you take your driving time and then your dispatch time and then your driving time.
So if you don't count the total of 8 months that I left BCB, I've been with BCB for almost 4 years.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And then so a little more than about 4 years, 8 months. We just take it. Everybody has a small sabbatical where they go and they figure out, hey, you know what? I need to turn around and come back and do what I need to
Yeah,
do.
grass ain't always greener on the other side.
Grass ain't always greener, is it? But no, glad to have you back. Glad you're back. Glad you're doing really good. And I'm glad that you're here. So, family, where your family here?
Hello?
Hey, your family here? You got family here?
Yeah, I've got pretty much my whole family. My two brothers, my wife, my two of my daughters live locally. One of them lives up in Pennsylvania. My parents live in Terrell. You know, pretty much my wife's whole family lives in Dallas Fort Worth area. So yeah, we got plenty of family around here.
You got three daughters. You got three daughters. What are their? You mind me asking you what ages they are? What are the ages of your daughters?
Oh, you gonna get me in trouble. 20. Well, hold on here. What's today?
What's today?
My oldest will be 20 tomorrow. My middle one will be 19 on the 25th of this month.
Wow.
And then my baby will be 16 in February.
Oh, congratulations. Ready to get her a car?
No,
It's coming, brother. It's coming.
no. If she drives anything like her mama, she ain't getting a car.
Got to give her a chance. She hadn't had really a chance yet. You don't know. You don't know. But no, hey, blessings to you and all, man. Great stuff. Does she go to? She's in. So 16. She's a junior, right? She's be a junior.
No. Dude, I believe she's still a freshman. I think she failed 3 classes last year due to the COVID and the social distance learning and the Zoom learning and all that. It didn't go over very well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know what, if they gave me an opportunity not to show up, guess what? Yeah, I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So I'm
not
right there with you.
I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? If they said, "Hey, does anybody want to?" and I'd have been shoo gone. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, so I want to take this opportunity. You know, Jack, you've been on both sides, you especially here at BCB. I just want to take this opportunity to ask you a few simple questions about, you know, BCB Live and the safety program here. And I know you're on the show. How often are you on the show?
If I'm in the truck when the show's on, I'm on the show.
Yeah, pretty much every day, right? When you're working.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good number. I mean, that's not hard to do. That's a pretty good number. Is there any chance? What's your favorite part of the show? You don't have to say me. It's okay if you say me. But what's your favorite part of the show?
Yeah. For me, it's actually the first part of it when it's you and Rick going back and forth at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a special moment that I get to do every day. That special. We like to call that professional banter. I think isn't that what we call that? I believe we call that professional banter, and also the informative hour. But yeah, I know I appreciate that. What do you get? What do you think this show does for safety here what do you think this show does for safety for BCB?
Hmm. I mean, it shows that safety is the most important thing, and I'm 100% okay with that. And I know this is going to sound weird, but sometimes it's almost to a fault, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean we're going to do it to a fault. We're going to be over the top. We're going to try to make sure it happens and try to get the message across. And I know that's it. But what I'm asking you is, what does it do for you? I mean, what have you done? Has it altered your driving at all ever?
A little bit. I do. Hold on here. I'm trying to roll my window down and turn the truck off so I'm not wasting fuel.
True owner
I do
operator.
catch myself leaving a little bit more room. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I do catch myself leaving a little bit more room, uh, especially on the freeway. To be 100% honest, I never realized before, uh, like coming up to on ramps and stuff like that. I've always been a firm believer in, you know what, the law says you yield to me, so I'm not going to slow down. I've gotten a little bit better at that. I'm not going to say I'm perfect because ain't nobody perfect, but I have gotten a little bit better about
Making sure that you're not about. It's not always about, and I like that.
Hey,
'Cause
well,
that tells me you're leaning towards preventability and not at who's at fault. You're leaning more towards preventability, and that's, you know what, if we can do that, just even if we can get that message across, it's important. It's important to me. And it's
Great
important.
point,
And,
brother.
and
That's
I
a
like
phenomenal.
the fact that to a fault, it's sinking in. To a
Right.
fault, we're trying to creep in, and to a fault, we're trying to get the message across for safety, man. And getting back in the truck and stuff like that, what is some of the things like for you personally when you're out there and you come across? Do you have anything that you would like to tell? If you got a chance to walk up to a driver, what is it you would tell them about BCB that makes it different from another company?
they actually care.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just a truck number. You're not just a number. You can actually, on many occasions, I've walked in and talked to Rick and Brian and Scott.
Well, this afternoon,
I've
God
never
bless and stay
been with a
safe.
company that had such an open door policy.
That's important, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
important to you, and that's important. That's important to a lot of people. Hey, by the way, today's Thankful Thursday, and I think it's important that we realize, and one of the reasons I wanted to reach out to you is I wanted to, I don't think we get a chance to do it enough. I don't get a chance to say thank you to each and every person as we do this, and I've taken for granted. I saw your name a million times when we were doing interviews, and I said, you know what, but it's important. You've talked to most of the drivers that we have here. I mean, most of them right off the bat. So, I mean, you pretty much, I mean, they're, especially the ones that have been here a long time, you already know them pretty well, right? Yeah. So I'll tell
Yeah.
you, they all know you and respect you. And I just want to say thank you for a job well done. Thank you for a job going out there and making a difference here at BCB and doing what needs to be done. And I hope that your first 4 years is just 4 years, long years, and many years being here.
Thank you. I hope so too.
And with that, I'm just going to say, if anybody has a chance, if you see Jack around, if you see him, if you bump elbows with him, bump fists with him, say thank you for a job well done. And man, I appreciate you, Jack, jumping in, pulling over, and taking just a few minutes to tell everybody hi. Now y'all know what Jack looks like, even though if you just talk to him on the phone, now you know what he looks like in real life, man. Get out there and say hi to him. Have a safe and wonderful day. I appreciate you. God bless and Godspeed, sir.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, that was Jack Renfro, and I hope everybody has a great day today. I'm going to go ahead and close with a quick prayer, and then that way we can get out of here. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today on this most special of days here at BCB Live. We ask that you help us appreciate what we have, appreciate who we know, and appreciate the things that you have given us. Father, we also ask that you help protect all those listening today, all those that are out there driving, doing the hard work, hard job, the forever job. Father, give us the courage to do the right thing by being safe. Protect those drivers, protect those people around them. Help us be a blessing upon somebody else today in some way, shape, form, or fashion. With that, we ask in your name we pray. Amen. All right, everybody. Have a great, wonderful day. We will see y'all tomorrow.
BCB Live. Glad to have you here with us today. Drive safe, Dave. Should I call you one-way Dave? Or you, as opposed to two-way Dave?
Hey, man, I'm just letting you know that the traffic and everything only goes this one direction.
It looks like it's coming
going
my
right.
way.
It's all going towards Sir Rick right there. It's all flowing that way. And by the way, do not go the opposite direction of travel.
You know what? I like that. I like that. So listen, if you're out in the hallway, you see Drive Safe Dave out there, you got to follow him. If he's standing like this, you got to go the other way. We're gonna redo traffic a little bit today in the office. If you see Drive Safe Dave, I'm telling you, if he turns like this, you gotta go that way.
Right.
You have to follow the one way. Hey, Drive Safe Dave. Speaking of traffic, we've got a little mess getting ready to start today, the 8th, over in Arizona.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a little bit going on here. I did want to show you right here on 15, just as it crosses into Arizona, before you go up into St. George. This area right here is closed. You want to go around that, and the way to go around that is when you leave Vegas, you're going to go up US 93 and then take US 93 to 319 over to 56. Also, if you're coming down, you follow the same route. It's 220 miles out of route to go like this. But this bridge is closed for construction.
Well, it's closed for one way. So you can go one way either way. That 268-mile detour, those are for the over-dimensional vehicle.
Yeah.
So listen, if you're a dry van, and mostly we have dry van folks on here, if you're OD or you're over 120,000 pounds, hey, you know what? I don't know what
they're not going to permit you this way. They're not going to permit you this way. So just be aware of what's going on out there as this traffic is going to continue to be doing this. And you will find congestion in this area. It is going to be congested on 15, no matter which way you're going or no matter what you're doing. It's always going to be a problem.
Yeah, so for certain one way crossing over the bridge, and that's what it is, Drive Safe Dave. We're working on bridges out in Arizona to make sure they can handle the weight, handle the traffic of what's going over the highway. Over dimensional, you are going to have to go out of route considerably. You know what? Make sure if you're out there and you're a CSR for an OD company, and you're charging for those out of route miles.
Absolutely, and you've got to pay attention. And you know what? Most of the time when you permit into these states, they'll inform you of where you need to go and what route you need to take. The only thing that is confusing in here is that this is a very small snippet of the state. They're actually telling you, hey, don't come into my state if you're OD. Make sure you stay out of my state, and then you won't get permitted in that state. So it's a little bit of a tricky idea.
Hey, well, New Orleans, we talk about Ida. Boy, we had the homes that had 7 nursing homes, Drive Safe Dave, get their license revoked as we had the deaths coming in from from Ida, with the old folks being moved from the homes and pushed over into warehouses.
Yeah, so the nursing homes were evacuated due to the evacuation order, and they placed them in a warehouse, and it was in squalor conditions, right? And they were there for days. And they're being under investigation right now by the Attorney General and also by the health authority. But in the meantime, they've been revoked. And those deaths are actually, the coroner announced yesterday, those deaths are going to be attributed to Ida's. They're going to
Gotcha.
actually be attributed to the hurricane.
Yeah, we spoke about that yesterday. That was some controversy. How are they going to classify those deaths? They do go down as Ida. But listen, some of the problems with that was the managers, that the people that ran the places, they left town and didn't really to see, hey, what are we doing to get people into a safe place? That's been addressed. You know what, Drive Safe Dave? It's a sad, sad thing. In other news in New Orleans, though, the carnival's docking over in New Orleans as they prepare to house some of the FEMA workers, the emergency workers, right there on the carnival ship.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. What they've done is that they're not able to sail out of the port, but what they did was they brought this ship in and they're going to use it as a hotel with air conditioning and food and stuff like that. So they're actually utilizing a great resource, kind of as an emergency huge 2,600 room hotel to help facilitate the repair and the rebuilding of that area.
Yeah, because let's face it, they just got power there early yesterday. 70%, most of New Orleans is with power today. But Drive Safe Dave, those boats are needed because there's a lot of workers in there. The hotels have got to get repaired. There's not a lot of places open right now. Hey, kudos and New Orleans and FEMA come together, make an agreement for them to be able to dock there and house some of these folks doing the emergency relief.
Yeah, and let's be honest. What a great way to do that, because you're not going to be able to get tired. You're not going to be able to get much done if you're not getting air conditioning, if you're not being able to sleep well. You and I both, Rick, you and I both know I wouldn't sleep well if I was in 100-degree heat and I was and then I was expected to go out and continue to work the next day. I would be exhausted. But this is a great way in which we can utilize a resource, and they're not sailing out of that port anyway.
No.
So there's not a lot of people going on cruises out of that port anyway. So I think it's a great way. Why aren't they parking more ships there if they need them? Because I think they said there's still like 1 million people still without power in that region.
Hey, up in the Northeast, President Biden makes landfall himself. And did you watch any of the video, Drive Safe?
Yeah, I saw the video yesterday of him going around and surveying the area, and I saw his news announcement. He did announce yesterday, I think one of his biggest strong points is that we're under a red crisis emergency because of the climate change. He basically listed all of the woes that Ida has created to genuine climate change. And that's what he was focusing on. And he said, that's what we really need to do, is rebuild our infrastructure and prepare ourselves for these types of events going forward, so that we're in better preparation, so that we can help rebuild these communities and go in quickly right after them and help out.
Yeah, boy, we've been speaking on it. And I'm a big believer that we must go in there and repair the infrastructure. We must repair these bridges. What's going on in Arizona, that is very much needed. And they're not alone, Drive Safe Dave. We see it now many places through the cities, through the highways, a lot of construction. We saw the highway system in Louisiana yesterday in one of those videos. It just needs to be repaired.
Oh.
And I get it. It's painstaking. And listen, what we don't want about it, because we're the first ones to complain. Oh, there's construction now.
Yeah,
and yes, that's what happens when we begin to repair these roads, and they are needed. This infrastructure is bad. Drive Safe Dave, we can say this, is though the highway system for the first quarter, as reported, received less miles driven on it first quarter than expected. But the one thing that happened on the highways, boy, we had more deaths this year in the first quarter, with less miles traveled.
Yeah, I attribute that to speed. I attribute that to the wide openness and people just driving too fast because there's not somebody in front of them, not somebody slowing them down. I mean, you get into traffic over here in Dallas going 5 miles an hour, the chances for a fatality lessen dramatically if you're sitting on Central Expressway and you're only going 5 miles an hour. It's the same way with out there on the open road. If there's less people out there, people tend to go a little bit too fast. And what happens is they meet somebody out there and it turns dangerous.
Yeah, 7,900 deaths last year, up to 8,730 deaths the first quarter this year.
Wow.
And listen to me on this one right here. And this goes to the four-wheelers. This goes to the big trucks. This goes to anybody out there, bicyclists, people walking. You've got to pay attention. You've got to have action. There was less miles driven. And Drive Safe Dave, if there's less miles driven, to me, there's no chance you have more death. It's the distractions. Let me tell you, they are so real, because technology, think about the technology involved in probably the same vehicles over the first quarter over last year. Probably better technology. It just goes to say, right?
I would say that.
Better technology, yet more deaths. That means something else is wrong. The distractions, that daggum cell phone that we're using, Drive Safe Dave, distractions are real. Speed, space, situational awareness, and those distractions.
Yeah, you have to really put all of it together. It's a big piece of the puzzle, but to get a good, clear picture of what's going on, and we try to attribute all of these deaths into that moment. And what it is we're going that speed, right? You're going way too fast, not paying attention. You're out there on the open road. You're flying down the road. There's nobody around. Put a little bit too much pressure on the pedal, and then all of a sudden you think, well, I got nothing else going on. It seems boring. So I start fiddling with the radio, right? I start messing with the radio, and I'm looking for my Pepsi, trying to get my Pepsi into my ice, my ice cup. Those things are real distractions. We do them every day. We've got to limit them. We've got to stay focused on that area in front of the vehicle when we're traveling at over 100 feet per second.
Yeah, so if you watched our show last week, we interviewed a company called No Cell, right? And Corey did a great job of introducing us to what that No Cell is. And you know what? I challenge you out there right now. If you're driving on the road right now, if you're listening to BCB Live, I challenge you to get involved with No Cell. Try that technology out. Help it make you get rid of some of those temptations, right? Help you save lives by reducing your distraction.
Yeah, and there's apps out there that you can use on your phone right now. Not just No Cell, but there's other things that you can utilize out there that help you be a better person behind the wheel and not receive those texts and not receive those dings, because we all want to see that. We all want to pay attention to that ding, that we almost kind of want to know, well, I don't know, do you have a special ring for that special person that is different from everybody else?
No, sir.
I do. I have a ring. I have a special ring for my wife, so it sounds a little different. So I know it's her calling. So I mean, not that I'm racing to the phone to answer it, but at times, there's times that the most important person needs to needs to reach you. And those moments make it difficult not to pay attention. And I get the challenge. I understand the challenges full well. Utilize the resources that you have, whether it be just a call with your hands-free device. Make it safer. Find a better way than picking up the phone and reading and getting distracted and sending and receiving messages.
Hey, Drive Safe, we talked yesterday about Bitcoin. Bitcoin took a big drop as well. Opened up at 52,000, dropped down to 46,000. We spoke specific about El Salvador and the new currency, right? You have the US dollar and now Bitcoin, the two currencies in El Salvador, and there were problems, but we expected, right? I mean, it's technology. There's going to be problems day one. Some of these problems still exist. They couldn't download the wallet. And boy, let me tell you, the cryptocurrency market went bizarre, down 10%, all of them.
Wow. And I still don't truly understand how you're going to do the cryptocurrency with its volatility that it has. So what's your tax? So I'm going to charge you this much in Bitcoin, but maybe in 2 weeks it's going to be twice as much in value or twice as less in value. I mean, how do you do that with that volatility, at least with a domestic currency or a currency that you're using that has some sort of solidness to it? You might be able to do that a little bit. I still don't get it. I still try to figure it all out.
Yeah, I don't think again, we're not the crypto guys right here. But we did also Drive Safe Dave. You talked about El Salvador and some of the, I'm not sure I trust the government over there with this. And you know what? We made a plea yesterday for somebody with some kind of intelligence to get on this show and help us out. And no other Drive Safe Dave. We got the great Mr. Jorge Bonilla from the... Hello, are we there? Okay, there we are. Jorge Bonilla, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, Sergeant Major?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for having me again.
No, man, it is absolutely our pleasure, Jorge. You know what? You're the only one that has any kind of intelligence here, so we got to bring you on the show to bring up a little credibility, I would say, to BCB Live.
Sure. Good morning. The situation in El Salvador, we don't know how that's going to pan out financially, at least not yet. It's too early. It just occurred. We're looking forward to those of us from Latin America and from the rest of the world, we're looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out, and we hope that it goes well. From a security perspective, I'm quite quite perturbed because the TCOs or the transnational criminal organizations like Mara Salvatrucha, also known as the MS-13, are going to take advantage of this. They're going to take advantage of this somehow, some way, because that's what they do. The bread and butter is criminal activities, particularly in that area. They have grown all over this hemisphere, particularly, and they're gonna. When they used to send money via Western Union, for example, where you can only send $750 a day, now they're going to use this method to send even more money and possibly grow worldwide. That's kind of ambitious for them. This is what they're saying. This is from the chief's mouth, if you will. But at the same time, it's disturbing to me. It's disturbing to many of the security professionals. There may be even that illegal, more increase of illegal migrants coming to the United States, specifically, maybe even to Europe, where they're going to have ease of sending money from wherever they are back to their hometowns. And this is obviously another piece of security issue that may occur, and we're all disturbed about that.
Yeah. Hey, when I think about cryptocurrencies, I think about the ease of money laundering, right? And when you talk about the MS-13 and any kind of gang-related activity, it's just today, those cryptocurrencies, they're not monitored the same way. It's a little easier. Let's face it, when people hack into systems, they demand to get paid by these cryptos. Bitcoin, they demand to be paid in those currencies. The MS-13 drive safe tape, I don't know if you had a chance, but I got to look at some of those pictures. Jorge Bonilla, I couldn't sleep last night. You gave me the homework, said go check out these folks. They scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
I think
this is their MO. It's I don't know if in Japan, I mean, their whole thing is about tattooing their whole body. These guys are doing the same exact thing. It's their MO. It's who they are. It's what they do, and each tattoo signifies something where in their life and how it fits within the criminal organization.
So I know Sergeant Major, I know that when we look at El Salvador, to me, I'm just curious how the rest of that region looks at it when they basically pulled out all of the justices in that country. We here in the United States, we hold the justices to a certain degree of respect, and we honor the tradition in which the judicial system is separated by its branch, and to have all of them removed basically and replaced with your own puppets, it makes everyone. I don't know how the rest of that area feels about it, but I sure would like to know, if anything, that you feel about how that government almost seems radical in the way that they're running their system.
The way we understand it is that the getting rid of the high court or the people in the law is significant, particularly in Latin America, in a country that is marred by corruption. So getting rid of these individuals has to be, at least we want to understand that it has to be part of getting rid of the corruption. That has been President Bukele's MO from the beginning, is get rid of get rid of the Mara Salvatrucha and, of course, the corruption. Those are the two biggest things, not only in El Salvador, but in that whole entire region. Northern tier, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. And, we expect other countries to follow suit, particularly in that region, because especially if it pans out. Right now, El Salvador is the guinea pig. They're the test bed for this whole thing. And if it pans out, if it goes well, then I think other countries will follow suit. But, the corruption is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I understand full well that money is just a tool in which they gain more power. And you're talking about widespread moving their influence of power by utilizing the Bitcoin and by utilizing this money to do that. I'm just curious, do you see this spreading to even more into that region? Do you see this allowing more, or do you see this all right, how are we going to measure this? Because I know that we want much for people to do the right thing. I'd say about 99% of the people want to do the right thing, but is that lure, that easy money, is what drawing them in, right?
The easy money, and easy money. You said it best, Dave. I mean, the best and fastest way to get to that money is what TCOs are going to continue doing. Hopefully, like I said, to be able to mitigate that. I hope they have some type of security apparatus in place to be able to do this. And I think getting rid of high-level lawmakers and policymakers and perhaps chiefs of police or whatever in the area will stop or will begin the slowing up the process of these criminal activities. And we hope that other countries follow suit.
Hey, Jorge, I want to thank you. Jorge Bonilla, the president of the Duality Alliance Company. Great job. Hey, thank you for bringing us information. Hey, Jorge, before you leave, though, I do want to show one more photo. This is from Drive Safe Dave back in his day as a gang member to kind of rival the MS-13. If we can get that picture up here. There you go. From the outsiders, that is Drive Safe Dave, like a Socia. That's how they fought, just in their suits and ties.
Khakis and collared shirts. It's a little different. Little more of I would say, of an urban type intimidation, but we used the right. It's just a little bit. We were a little bit more gentlemanly when we were intimidating.
Oh man!
Hey, before I go, guys, I like to tell you that I'm a little jealous that everybody there has a nickname and I don't.
Coming.
So if you guys want to come up with a nickname for me,
with all
very
respect, we'll make sure that we'll get you something that works.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonilla. That is Jorge Bonilla. Just again, bringing some news into Central America. When we talk about something Drive Safe Dave, we want to go out there and we're going to find an expert to back us up. And if it takes us 3 or 4 or 10 people to agree with us, that's what we will do. We will search this world find people to agree with us.
We're going to make sure that we have the right information so that everybody says, yes, you guys are right on the money. But you know what? It's nice to have the Sergeant Major come in and validate the information, come in and bring the information to us and let us know a little bit more insight on what's going on in the world, especially that region of the world. It's nice to have somebody that has their finger on the pulse of what's really happening down there and what's really going on.
Hey, we're going to be back to you in about a minute and a half. This is BCB Live. And believe it or not, we are the safest station in the nation. Welcome back to BCB Live. Drive Safe Dave. Again, great information from Mr. Bonilla. going over what's happening in Central America. What we have here in the United States, so we can talk about that for a second, is we continue to see a market right now that is pretty heavy in freight. And listen, remember, it's the day, it's a week of the holiday. And what have we learned, Drive Safe Dave? The week of a holiday, when a holiday falls on Monday?
It takes us a while to get back in the game. We seem to stumble over our feet. We seem to stumble over what we're doing, but we slowly start to recover. And then the following week, we're right back at it.
Yes, sir. And that's what we see right now. It's a slow curve moving back up as we continue to ship out the freight. It's there. Some other things that are there as well is capacity continues to get more and more tighter. It is really tight right now, Drive Safe. And the reason that is that there's a lot of freight. We've had a hurricane that has destroyed part of this country, right? Just went up and down, hit the Northeast and Louisiana. It's going to require now FEMA stepping in. It's going to require flatbeds stepping in. And Drive Safe Dave, flatbeds, and I say this every once in a while, but when flatbeds start hauling flatbed freight, it makes the rest of the markets get a little tighter.
Yeah,
when reefers start hauling refrigerated goods instead of dry vans, dry van goods, it makes that capacity get a little bit tighter. And that's what we're seeing right now. And challenges, Drive Safe, let's talk about it. We're moving into peak season, not just for FedEx, but for UPS, for Amazon, for everybody.
Everybody,
Peak
Walmart,
season's
everybody.
Here. Peak season's here. Capacity is tight. And you know what else is tight? Are the truck, the trailer. Well, I talked to some folks from Volvo yesterday regarding FEMA. What are they going to do with FEMA? And they said, normally when this happens, they have 20, 25, 30 trucks on their lot that they can lease, rent, give to FEMA to use for these emergency conditions. Drive said, Dave, they have zero.
Yep.
There's no trucks out there. And when you think about extra lease, you think about all these rental companies. Yeah, these companies that have trailers as well. Well, normally during the season, the Amazons, the FedEx, UPSs, the Walmarts, they haven't came out and grabbed all the trailers yet. They're just lots full of trailers. Let me tell you something. We haven't seen a trailer in these lots in a year.
Yeah, they don't even have them. They're pre-ordered. Everything's in, and they're not even on the ground. And that includes, I mean, just think about it. Penske's and Riders and all of these big and Hogan and all of these big rental companies don't have the equipment to give them. They just don't have it.
When you don't have trailers, you don't have trucks, and you know what else? There's not a lot of drivers, right? We've had a driver shortage. Drive Safe, I just think that period we're in right now is critical because the one unknown, the magic unknown we have right now is that unemployment has been taken away from over 8.7 million Americans. Right. And now who goes back to work? How many of that 8.7 were truck drivers that have to go back to work now or get to go back to work now? Whatever that is, Drive Safe Dave, that's the big question for me because there is some open capacity in trucking companies out there with trucks ready to go, ready to be seated. I'm going to tell you one thing, though. There's not a lot of trailers. The trucking companies, while they may have trucks open, those trailers are loaded with somebody's freight because they don't have a driver to pull it.
Not only do they have to pull it, but it's crazy because they're actually using the trailers. Before we had be able to store freight on a trailer and just put it to the side. Now there's no room for that, and they're having to use extra labor to unload it, use extra warehousing to get it done and get it knocked out because it's going to cycle right back out. The in and the out is what the turnaround. I imagine. What is the new turnaround time on freight? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows that answer. The warehouses are full, and then there's some warehouses that have space capacity, but they don't have the workers to come in there and do it. It's a literal mess right now in our industry. And I will say one more thing on this. You would think throughout all of this, and here's the big bogey that I don't think is getting enough press, is that utilization of a driver's hours. Utilization of a driver's day, you would think it maybe with all the problems we're having, it would increase, but it hasn't. It's decreased. The utilization of a driver's hours in a day have decreased. And I'm going to tell you the reason why is that many companies now, Drive Safe Dave, they're just paying for the full day for a driver. I know it's only going to take him 6 or 7 hours. I'll pay you for a full day. And when they start paying that for a full day, well, now the drivers, their days are also shrinking. We're not moving as much freight as we could right now because the shippers, the customers are buying that power.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with also in the warehouses that they go to, they're running with less capacity in the warehouses. There's not as many forklifts running in and out of these trailers, and you're getting stuck at a location for a little bit longer time. I wonder if the detention time mirrors that. I mean, if it is demonstrative of the time that you're at a customer's and the detention time, I'll tell you that as we go forward, ever more value needs to be placed on those productive hours.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's 11 hours in a day that you can bill out. I do think that we as a country are starting to use and learn how to bill for those 11 hours. You may not use them all, but you're going to pay for them in detention and in rates or something.
Absolutely.
It's going to be here. Exciting times, Drive Safe Day, because as in the trucking industry, boy, let me tell you something. You've got to stay safe out there if you're a driver. You've got to stay safe because this is your time. Your value has just continues to increase, but it only increases if you're a safe driver. I want you to make sure that you're hearing me on this, is that you have got to stay safe on them roads. You've got to protect life always. Pre-trip, post-trip, making sure your equipment's good, placing value on your CDL, placing value on your license, on your life and the life of others. That's what it's about. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, we need a phrase that pays.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you ready for the phrase that pays? It is.
You're ready. Oh, you want a drum roll?
Avoid a wreck. Dash the tech.
One more time.
Avoid a wreck. Dash the tech.
We'll be right back with you in a minute and a half.
We're going to do a little bit of some traffic and some weather coming your way. As you can see in the Dallas area, typically, sorry, let me get rid of that. Hey, 30, always congested out here in Dallas, heading out there to Rockwall. And again, coming into Dallas, 30, you've got some troubles. 67 coming up, looks like some traffic jams there as well. And the 635 loop around on the east side of Dallas also. As we move on into Kansas City area, again, you can see some showers overlaid there, but not a lot of, just some few stop and go things, but nothing really major for Kansas City, just some rain. Slow down, if you will, when there's some rain on the road, especially if it's that light rain, it's the most dangerous as it mixes with the dirt and the oil. And in Chicago, well, it is Chicago. So again, you can see 90, 94, really congested, back up, stop and go, not moving very quick. Same as 290 coming into Chicago. And then again, south out of Chicago 55 as well. The Adlai-Stevenson Expressway is backed up as well. So Chicago going to have some slow go this morning. A lot of traffic issues there. And as we go to Philly, the Philadelphia, right? You can see going into New Jersey, some strong traffic backups there. A lot of orange, so a lot of slow traffic moving on the Turnpike 76. And then going up, coming from the north into Philly, southbound on the 76, a really backed up area right there. And I believe that's going to be an interchange coming up as well. And then when we go to Atlanta, same Atlanta traffic, north and south, always horrible, and then coming on 20 from the east, and a little bit coming in from the west, as you can see going into Atlanta. Expect major delays there as well as you would expect. Atlanta's almost getting like California out there in Atlanta. Nashville doesn't look too bad today, this morning. You can see 40, just a little pockets here as you get close, but just not a whole lot going on. 31E's got some backups coming in through there. But the rest of it looks pretty good in the Nashville area today. We'll be right back with some weather. Hey, everybody. Good morning again. We got some weather, just some scattered storms, the Red River, the Florida Panhandle, and up here in Charlotte, there's a pretty strong thunderstorm going on right there as well. So be on the lookout for that. Slow it down. Again, the weather when it's raining, you got to reduce your speed by at least 15 miles an hour, depending on the weather and the traffic, how much rain's going on. Remember, ponding starts at 40 miles an hour. Hey, our wind gusts, not a whole lot real bad for today, as you'll see, up here in the north a little bit, but really nothing horrible. But unfortunately for the firefighters, we got good news and bad news. Tomorrow, the winds pick up out there in California where the fires are. They are at 50% for most of them. The big ones, Caldor and Dixie, are at 50 and 59%. But the good news is, we'll show you here right now, is on Friday, some rain starts to move into that California area. So there's chances of some storms are going to move in there, give some fires and firefighters a much needed break, hopefully. So we're going to keep praying for that. And as you can see, that's 5 a.m. It kind of increases in size right there. Right here near Reno, Lake Tahoe is where the Caldor fire is. And just north of that by about 100 miles is the Dixie fire. Dixie fire is over 920,000 acres, and the Caldor fire is over 217,000 acres. So you've got almost 1.25 million acres there, just in those two fires alone. Then you have some smaller ones as well. Hey, don't want to bring you any horrible news, but folks, we are not out of hurricane season. There's Larry, but man, was watching this and put this out. It's going to get really active coming off of Africa in the next. Now we're a week out, but you'll see some of this. The rain, there it is. So this pattern, as we move it forward, just keeps firing up more and more. You can see them here coming off of Africa. So we're going to be watching this in the next 2 weeks. We could see some really uptick in the hurricane march. Now, this first one, the pattern is to follow Larry and go up north and miss. So we're going to be watching this. But again, this is Tuesday the 14th. So we're a week away from this. But you can see all the activity here coming off of southern Africa on the western bank there. And it's going to get worse. So the hurricane season is not over. We will keep an eye on them systems to see if they develop as they come in. You can see a lot of thunderstorm activity also expected already in the Gulf Coast area here, especially on the western side. So again, we're not out of it yet, but for the day, not a lot of wind, not a lot of rain tomorrow. Especially Friday, let's hope them firefighters get some much needed rain. Hey, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
And Bob, do you actually mind showing us the California weather one more time for us?
Okay.
Hey, rain dance, baby.
Woo! Got some California
belly bump. That was brought. I'm not sure who that was brought to you by, but Kiki D looked like one of them. Hey, we'll be right back with some safety.
Dave, Buckle Up Bob. I really feel good about our chances for rain.
I do
You know
too.
what? Nothing like a little rain. We need a little help. You know what? At BCB Live, we'll do anything for safety, including a little dance to help us get some rain, some much-needed rain out out west.
Yeah, it's a 4 or 5, and let's hope it's not a gully washer that washes away and causes even more trouble. But get that much-needed rain just to help put out some of them fires. They are gaining on it just slowly, and this could make just what they need to put them over the top.
You know, and as you talk about it, and when we talk about a light rain or a simple rain that goes on, that what it really does is it quells all of those embers that travel to that fresh energy. I mean, that fresh firewood, that can get ignited. And when you have that soak of rain, it really helps. It really, really helps. And we are ready for them to get some rain out there and knock that out.
We really are. I mean, the smoke, the fires, the devastation from the homes being lost from these fires are amazing. And it just seems, and I mean, it's an every year thing.
Consuming, and they consume it. Now, fire is a part of forestation. I mean, it is a part. I mean, and I think I was reading somewhere that they do a really good job in the Southeast Florida where they start fires. So because it is a natural process, but right now and what's going on out there, it's just a drought that is creating this incredible tinderbox of just flames and fire and everything like that. So, man, we got to be I'm really excited about fire, as you can tell.
Yeah, see, swipe right for rain this week for daggum sure. Buckle up, Bob. What do we have in the world of safety today?
Hey, we've been talking this week about tailgating, and again, give us some statistics. And here, I want to encourage everybody, tune in the next 2 days because we're going to talk about something that very seldom gets talked about. And so we really want to, and it's critical, and many people may not know the legal aspect of it. But we kind of preface it today by it's illegal to tailgate, all right? And so on average, it says that 14 out of every 10,000 drivers have been cited at some point for tailgating. You know, and that doesn't sound like a big number. But then I looked at it and said, well, we have on average in 2019, we had over 229 million drivers, okay? So that's probably well over, I used 230. So that actually computes to about 322,000 citations for tailgating. You know, so again, and it's probably well over that because these are drivers on the road, legal drivers with license were, that was 2019 was the 230 million. So again, it's grown, I'm sure, but you just got to realize you got to slow down and give that space. And again, doing a great job because as we said, we are at 113 days without a preventable accident. You know, and that's our DOT streak too. So again, September doesn't get us out of the danger. I know we got through the 100 days. Great job, all the drivers out there making safety a priority and protecting life. But again, September is the 4th deadliest month on record, typically year in, year out. So September is no picnic either just because we got through the 100 deadliest days. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back into some videos. Or we go right to videos?
Let's go right into
Let's go right to them.
Let's be a little crazy today.
Crazy today.
Right?
I'm on you say. Hey, here's one. You know, again, we get to nitpick. Not a horrible space, but still too close for the speed. Remember, we're traveling about 100 feet per second, a nice steady lane change. You know, but what you lost here at the beginning of this was, again, we're under this driver is under the speed limit, right? It was 60 there, I believe, or 65. And I think this truck was doing 60. But again, the big picture is gone here. You cannot see around that truck. Now, this driver does a great job making a nice gradual lane change to get out there and get that big picture. But hey, stay back right here. Don't close on them. Stay back, get out of it a little bit more, and make that same safe lane change. This next one, you know, again, big city area, great job at managing speed and space. But one thing, hey, want to encourage all drivers, keep the windshields clean because what you can't see here is the big truck right in front of you through the bug splatter there, it looks like. So again, don't harm your vision. Make sure you keep your windshields clean, but great job in managing the speed and space. In the big city metropolis, we talk about it, 3 lanes of traffic, just in the middle lane, not affecting anybody. Just a great job by this driver.
No, phenomenal job. And next video, we kind of come into another big city here, Buckle Up Bob.
Yes, sir. And again, they had the space this driver did. Somebody took it and look at the immediate increase of that space. That's all you got to do. You know, some of the arguments I've heard is, hey, I'm going backwards. And, and it amazed me. I had one driver try to argue 15 minutes that he physically thought he went backwards. And I was like, you're in gear. And as long as you're traveling some miles per hour, you cannot go backwards unless you put it in reverse. So, but just the mentality and the thought process sometimes that we got to get over. But this driver did a great job.
No, again, somebody takes your space, you increase it, you reduce your speed. I'm in love with this driver here. I love the skill right here. You know what? I don't know who you are, but marry me, for Christ's sake. Will you marry me?
Hey, this next video, man, I don't know. Apparently, this driver is upset with this. Not this driver, but the four-wheeler is going to be upset with something that this driver did. Not sure what. But you can see, just pulls all the room in the way, not turning, and does the brake check. Folks, I want you to stay tuned. Tune in tomorrow and Friday as we talk specifically about this brake checking. Many of you may not know some of the laws out there, but again, I'm going to assume that this four-wheeler was upset with this driver for whatever reason early, maybe right there on the turn. Not sure, but again, brake checking is never a safe option.
It almost looked like there was a speed bumper or something there that the driver slowed down in front of as well. Oh, my goodness.
And here, can't understand this at all. The lane is merging into one, okay? And maybe this driver has the right of way, but this car is in front, right there. It's in front of you. So I don't understand why you just aren't courteous and let them in. I mean, you got to go in the other lane of traffic. Here comes a truck. I mean, there is just no safe reason to be doing this.
And we're not protecting life at all. No. This one here. We see this. We have a car here, and again, we don't know the mindset. Is this driver impaired? Right? Is it this driver a 13-year-old that's driving illegally? Is it somebody that's so old they don't know what they're doing? But we've got them frantic to where they almost create another accident as they cut left in front of on the oncoming traffic. Listen, we are, as Drive Safe says it, the kings and the queens of the roads. And that's not just the highway. That's every road where we must and do our part to back off and just let them in. Just let them in.
Yeah. I don't understand what is gained here by doing what happened.
We have not only. I see here the potential for so many things going on here. As the lane closes and the driver's forced to move over, there's nowhere he can go. All you have to do is back off. If for any reason you hit this vehicle, you pit him right in front of this oncoming truck, and that pit maneuver would create that vehicle out of control into that oncoming lane. And you can see here we are, we're squeezing over, and then we're squeezing back. If for any reason we had pit, that truck may, if it's that loaded gravel hauler, had been coming this way, there's no chance. And where are we doing right here? Where's the decision-making process right here that is protecting life? You just got to back off, touch the brake, give everybody room, and make it.
Yeah,
make
this
it
one right here, and we can stay in here just for a second, is this one it doesn't matter why. Maybe a mile, maybe for the last mile, this car, this SUV's been playing with you, right? Getting in front of you, moving, darting in and out. Who knows? But at this moment, you have to back out. You just have to realize that, man, nothing good can happen. All we're going to do is possibly push him over to the right or to the left, and nothing good can happen. This is not protecting life. And again, I know that y'all are out there driving so many more miles than I'll drive. You'll drive more in a week than I'll drive in a year probably. And what I'm telling you is that you still have to back off. You still have to. You have to be better than the four-wheeler.
Absolutely. What if the truck had been 5 seconds sooner?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Truck had been 5 seconds sooner.
2 to 3 seconds could have made this a whole different thing. And then there's a guardrail there, so there's no place to go.
Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's the big truck. So many dangers, so many potentials right there. It makes you want to say, what? And then you've got to make sure that we do the right thing here and watch what's going on.
Right there, all right, we'll go to this one. Hey, I'm trying to find this. I can't get Google Maps to work right, but to see if there was any warning. But I had to watch this several times to see that stop sign that this driver rolled through. Again, these rural country roads, you got to slow down a bit. The signs are hidden. You know, maybe it's the camera angle, but it was really hard. You come out of that tree cluster, and then there's a stop sign. Wanted to go down the road and see if there's a warning, a stop ahead, or what's the thing going. But you could see very much vegetation held, just obscured the stop sign. Again, we've got to be mindful of these areas, especially on these secondary highways. You know, got to protect life. It's an intersection. We know how dangerous they are.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you that stop sign means only one thing. There's no question. It's not a suggestion. It's not an emphasis on what should be done. It is exactly the law, and the law says you must stop here before you can proceed. There's no ambiguity. There's not a hey, maybe do it when nobody's around, or hey, maybe do it just some of the time. Stop means stop before you proceed. That's it. You've got to stop before you proceed. And if you don't stop, you've broken the law and you've not provided yourself the safest solution. And we had one of our streaks was ended. I think the last streak was ended because somebody didn't stop completely at a stop sign.
Yes, correct. Made a turn and hit somebody.
That's right. So
correct.
Those stop signs are important. Focus on them. If you see one, guess what it means? It means stop before you proceed, no matter what, no matter how, and no matter when.
Absolutely right. And, you know, and again, one of the things looking up, you know, when drivers tailgate, it is a form of angry driving or aggressive driving. And statistics are lawyers in the lawsuits. They are actually putting statistics and getting the data from the psychiatrist or whatever, anywhere they can get to actually show that when you have road rage or you're angry, aggressive driving, that it is the same as being impaired with drugs and alcohol, that you're driving impaired. You are not thinking clearly. So it's important, as we've seen, you know, if that driver that squeezed that one and didn't let him in, if you're doing that because you're upset or angry, you're impaired and should not be driving a commercial motor vehicle or any vehicle in that regard. And they're leaking more and more data as they get these studies and these statistics that they're absolutely allowed to or able to use that in a court of law against you as you were driving impaired because you were angry.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the cameras and what they show as well. So there's a lot of evidence out there that's used primarily to save you, right? Because more times than not, you're doing the right things. And we talk about technology, and we have a few minutes here to kind of hit this subject for a second. Is, you know, it's just a matter of years. Okay, it's not going to happen next year, but within the next 5-7 years, that forward-facing camera, the camera facing the driver, that's going to be mandatory.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts, Drive Safe Dave, on that forward-facing camera? I know we're going to have drivers that are going to say, hey, that's when I retire. I'm out of here when that happens. But what are your thoughts on that? Again, the assumption is it does what it's supposed to do, right? It's only recording when an event happens. Let's pretend that it's perfect for a second and only captures you when you're picking up a cell phone, when you're falling asleep. It's catching you, perhaps getting drowsy, the yawns, and seeing all that stuff. Drive Safe Dave, thoughts on the forward-facing camera?
Yeah, I mean, you mean the driver-facing
Yes,
cameras?
sir.
You know, I think it's going to come about. I think the intuitive technology is there, just like it is as it identifies signs. It can identify the behavior of the driver. And not only would I like for it to record that and do that, but warn the driver if it sees, hey, send out a buzzer. Hey, just like it would if you're not wearing your seatbelt. I think that intuitive, if you're going to utilize that to hold the driver accountable, man, utilize that to also be as a gift tool and to help the driver say ding, 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 or whatever, drowsy, appear to be drowsy or whatever. Also identify those behaviors, give that information to the driver so that they can also show themselves where they need it. Because sometimes we have to identify our own negative behavior. And,
We do.
And if you can see those, just like we watch these videos, you can see yourself later in as a tool to help you get better. I think it could be a good thing.
And I think that's the key.
Yes.
Is it must be used to help you, not used to
hold you.
to throw you in jail. It's used to help you, to make you better. We talk about film. Watching film is supposed to make you better, improve your skill, improve your talent, not just used to incriminate you, right?
Yeah, and you know, and again, with the technology, they're going to be, I got to believe when they mandate it, they're going to be able to make it like where the inward facing camera doesn't come on until the truck goes in gear. So you still have the privacy when you're parked, and you know, if teams have their husband and wives, you don't have to worry about invasion of privacy because I'm sure they're going to be able to, just like they can do deceleration videos to trigger at this point, they're going to be able to put technology in there and say, hey, when the truck is in gear and starts to move, then the inward-facing camera would turn on and start recording.
Yeah, I know we have a question before we get that drive safe, Dave. You remember the old, though, years ago we had the technology. I think I was probably 8th, 7th grade when we had the commercial that had it like somebody wearing an earpiece, and if their head went down, it started beeping for you. Remember the old infomercial for that thing? I don't know what that product was, but your head went down, beep, 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 and it would save your life. Who do we have, producer?
Yeah, we got Ricky Butterfield here on the line. Let me get your thing here for you, Ricky. What do you got for us, sir?
How about you, Ricky?
Mr. Butterfield, what do you got for us today, sir?
Yeah, no, it is going to be controversial, but I think a lot of us were opposed to forward-facing cameras to begin with.
Oh, we were.
And then all of a sudden we started seeing just how positive the feedback was, and also how many drivers it saved. Right, with it.
That was the key.
And I think that's when it became relevant to the drivers and say, you know what, this is actually beneficial. And I think that's going to be the case going forward. Look, there's going to be a lot of controversy about invasion of privacy, and I get all that. I think, but at some point, just like police officers, they don't have to have a reason to pull over a CDL driver. They can pull over a CDL driver for they don't have to have cause. They can pull, because you hold that license, you are held to a different standard. And with that comes certain things. And I truly believe that as long as it helps the industry, it helps us go forward as a whole, I think it's a good thing.
And I'm going to say there is definitely a point. There are times that you must have the inward-facing camera, the driving forward camera facing the driver, and that's with a student driver. That's when even when the companies that employ these people that do the driver training. Listen, we're training folks to drive for the very first time. We've got to pay special attention to them as well. A brand new driver in that truck, I want to see everything. Drive safe, Dave. I get it that maybe you don't want that on your side, but you then have a choice. Do I take driving as my career, or do I not? Or do I find a company that's not measuring that? Producer, who do you have?
Well, I was just gonna throw something in here before we put Cool Dude on the line. I think that forward-facing cameras, in that sense, whenever you have somebody who's training to do like a psychological screening, a lot of times 66% of traffic fatalities are caused by aggressive driving and angry driving and road rage. So I think being able to see how somebody reacts to the road every day is a very important thing. And we also got Cool Dude on the line here. What do you got for us today, sir?
Cool Dude.
What's up, Warren?
Cool Dude.
Well, it's always good to have our the folks watching the show participate on this. I know we have some every once in a while we have some issues. We have somebody else.
Yeah, Jason Cree, what do you got for us?
Morning, guys. How you doing, Rick? I'm safe. The only problem that I have with the driver-facing cameras, the company I worked for before, JBS, had them. They had the drive cam set up, and they would call you. They called me in the middle of the day taking a drink of soda. Told me I'm not allowed to take a drink of soda. They would watch those cameras religiously and call you out every time that they saw something that they didn't like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the main problem I have with them is their big brother cams looking on you in here. If I can't take a drink of soda in the day cab, middle of summer, and it's 110 degrees outside, pretty much a microwave, rolling down the street microwave. I mean,
no, that's a good point, Jason. And I'm hoping that that's not the line you cry. I mean, hey, why are you sneezing? You realize when you sneeze, your eyes are closed? Hey, quit your sneezing.
Stop blinking.
Yeah. Hey, whoa. Hey, pick your nose after you stop.
Yeah.
Don't do it while you're driving.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not what it's for. Buckle up, Bob. When we talk to people with any kind of technology, they do say this. The first time you get it, it's like you're stuck on looking at everything. But that is not what it's for.
No.
From a safety perspective, the videos that you look today, you're not looking at anything. You're looking at the alerts, items that are flashing to you saying, hey, there is a problem right here.
Yeah. Companies have to use the cameras for what what can really benefit them and retain drivers by coaching, right? Training them. Hey, like you said it great. When you look at yourself on a video and you say, oh man, did I do that, right? Because sometimes you do things second nature you don't even realize, but when you see it over and over again, some drivers have called in and explained and owned the video and said, man, you know what? I didn't even realize or this or that, but this is what I've learned. And so it's got to be used as a coaching, not as a get rid of, because you want to retain drivers. Safety numbers there's one thing that every carrier can admit is safety numbers are improved when you keep the drivers you have. You just got to coach them up a little bit.
They do. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, it's 8 o'clock. We got to close out this show. We love your participation. We love that y'all sit here and watch BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation, but we're only that because of what they're doing out there on the highway, on what you are doing. Drive Safe Dave, you want to close us out with a prayer?
Absolutely. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Protect us, guide us, and watch over us today as we go forth. Do your will upon the world as you see fit. We ask so many things of you, and here we are asking one more time. Father, thank you for all that you do, and we ask in your name, we pray, amen.
Amen. Be safe. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave. Ida hit over the weekend. A lot of, we're still hitting over 900,000 people without power in that Louisiana, in that New Orleans area primarily.
Yeah, they from the weather yesterday and from the news yesterday that I saw in all reports, it looks like that power is going to be out well into a week. They had major powers go down and even fell into the Mississippi River. So they're not looking to be able to restore power. Minimum 4 days, they said, just to assess the damage. But may well go on into a week. They were talking about how hospitals have generator power and have fuel and everything necessary to get things done. But right now, it looks like it's going to be at least a week before they're able to restore power to most people.
Yeah, Jefferson Parish, think about that. 400,000 folks that may be without power for up to 21 days is what they're reporting on that. So pretty significant as we talk about this. Slidell, Louisiana. Not sure if you read that in the news or not. There was a person in Slidell, hit very hard. Slidell was attacked by an alligator swimming in those waters, the flooded waters. Alligator attacked the gentleman, lived. But Drive Safe Dave, those are just some of the dangers that happen when these floods, especially down there in that south where there are alligators, right?
Yeah. So you see these people walking in waters, right? Moving between cars, trying to rescue. And now you got to worry about alligators and snakes in the swamp because the swamp's flooded.
Oh, it's a swamp too. We've seen those shows, right? I mean, we've watched them on TV, the alligator hunters. Those,
I'm out.
That's what I think about when I see them walking. It's different here, in Texas and Dallas. If your street's flooded, you're walking. You're not getting attacked by anything. There, it's a whole different animal, and it's for real though. And listen, our hearts go out to you out there, and boy, we got to find ways that. FEMA, we're still a little way. We have to go in and get the power going. FEMA is going to step in at some point. They've already stepped in, let's face it, but the truckloads of water, the truckloads of food are eventually going to start hitting as we kind of figure out what's going on. Right?
Yeah,
what are the next steps?
From what I understood yesterday, that not all the roads are even clear yet. They still have roads well underwater. They still have roads well deep, but they can't even get some of the supplies and some of the trucks in just yet until they get the roads and debris. There's still a lot going on. I know that emergency service personnel were out yesterday cutting trees, clearing roadways, but I don't even think the roadways are open yet.
Yeah, America's longest war, Drive Safe, comes to an end. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? It is, as always, these long wars that we are engaged in, whether it be Nam or whether it be Afghanistan, we're pulling out. I feel like we didn't really succeed in the mission that we went there to do and fulfill the, I guess what we would call the democratic dream in the region. And once again, the people that we pushed out when we went in have taken back over.
Yeah, 100 to 200 Americans still being left behind. We do know that count, but tens of thousands of some of our allies being left behind in Afghanistan. Drive Safe, Dave. Those are the issues as we pull out. Those are the ones that your hearts really go out to right now is my God, what are they going to do? How are they, they are being hunted, Drive Safe, Dave.
Yeah, they are being hunted, and you know what? They're going to be used as a tool against us for leverage. I mean, that is the biggest fear right now. They're going to be used as a leveraging tool to get what they want, to set whatever price they want, or to say whatever they want. So right now, we fear for their lives, and we've got to figure out a way to get them out of there and to make it safe for them as well.
Yeah. Hey, drive safe, Dave. Some things that you and I were talking about before the show started. We were talking about the levee, right? And the successes that occurred from this hurricane right here. We see it in that there wasn't as much flooding as there was back in Katrina. And there are some successes that we take back from the infrastructure, the amount of money that went in to protect us here, to protect this country, or to protect Louisiana from that.
Yeah, the United States Corps of Engineers went in and reinforced, rebuilt, and in some places redid completely there you are. Redid completely the levees in there with the United States Corps of Engineers and made it better, made it brand new basically, and built it up so that it was there.
Yeah, the infrastructure. Let me tell you something. I take some comparisons and I make it to what happened in Louisiana with the levees, and I make it to the bridges, to the highway systems that we have right now. This hurricane, Hurricane Ida, was much more powerful than Katrina. We saw what happened with Katrina, right? And I make the comparison to the highway systems today to Katrina. Katrina, our highway systems are much like Katrina's was. The levees were. They're not sound. They're not safe. We saw it in Memphis, right? We saw it in St. Paul, Minnesota. What happened in Louisiana, pre-Ida was devastating. The successes from Ida, the money that went into to repair that infrastructure, make the levee safer, it really did prove out during this. And drive safe, Dave, this infrastructure, we've been talking about it for years. When are we really going to go in there and invest in these bridges, invest in this aged highway system? Do we wait until it's too late? Do we wait for another Memphis? Dang gummit, drive safe, Dave. Do we repair the infrastructure? Do we take it serious when we have one more Minneapolis?
Yeah, no, I tell you what, I looked at, and you can look at the pictures that we had from downtown New Orleans, not just the levees, Sir Rick. You look at the pumping system that was rebuilt and redesigned, and you could see Louisiana, you could see Bourbon Street, you could see downtown New Orleans, you could see they did not have deep water nowhere out because the pumping system was working, and that was the infrastructure you're talking about, behind the scenes working, that underground stuff, that stuff that you take for granted. And that's what we're talking about, underground, that base under these roads that have been neglected for years. I mean, and a road's only as strong as its base, and it's not just the roads. You talk about bridges, you talk about all kinds of everything, parking lot, parking for on-ramps, access ramps, state highways, roadways, everything that goes into effect. You're talking about the infrastructure that needs much, much money and needs much attention.
Yeah, we've got to spend the money. We've got to spend the time. We've got to repair these bridges. And everybody wants to talk about platooning, getting more trucks on the highway. And let's face it, if in fact we deal with these autonomous trucks, there's going to be more trucks on the road. Why is that? Well, because there's a driver shortage right now. So if you believe there's a driver shortage and you fill it up with autonomous vehicles, hey, guess what? There should be, in theory, more trucks on the road. How can these bridges handle more trucks on the road when we're seeing an aged infrastructure, an aged bridging system? How can we platoon on these bridges that can't carry that much weight, drive safe, Dave? Do we once again wait until it's too late? Or are we going to really go out there, put that infrastructure in, get these highways fixed up, get them ready for real transportation? We see it in Oklahoma. You talked about the old dreaded 69, right?
Ooh.
You love that highway?
No. No, I don't. That's the bumpiest road. One of the bumpiest highways I know. You cannot sleep in the sleeper. That is not a team highway, I can tell you that. Or you're just bouncing back.
You know what? It's not too. And we're going to kind of go into, we have a special guest today, but the distractions. When you're on 69, when you're on some of these highways, there's no time, there's no place for you to have any distractions going on. You can't be on that phone. You can't be watching TV. You cannot even be watching BCB Live while you're driving.
What?
Let me tell you something. That goes against what we're doing. It's about safety. The BCBs are being safe and putting safety above everything. Drive safe, Dave. We start the new year every year taking a pledge, right? I'm gonna lose weight this year. I'm going to the gym, baby.
Yeah.
Wait till you see these guns in a year from now. We start it every year, and we struggle as people to comply with it.
Yeah, the commitment to continue on and to make that life-changing event. I'll tell you, it's hard, and it's not just that, but there are many things that I believe that we need to do, and we need to make some commitment. And I'll tell you, our commitment to safety, I don't think our pledge has gone on in solid here, and the commitment to safety. And there's so many ways to do that, isn't there?
Drive safe, there really is. And there's a lot of commitment places, pledging companies out there that we need to get behind as well as BCB Live. Listen to me. If you're out there and you're a company, you're an NDD.org, and that means distracteddriving.org. If you're out there, we want to hear from you. We're going to call you in because we're going to get behind one or two of these organizations, Drive Safe, Dave, to help protect those on the highway, right? From folks being on the folks that are distracted. Let's face it, there are 3 accidents a minute caused by distracted driving.
Yeah, I know. And I think one of the greatest things I saw on the distracted driving pledges is that it's not only when you're driving, it's even when you're a passenger. It's when you're there. Make the pledge for always. So if you're there and you're the passenger, find a way to make it less distracting for the driver.
And Drive Safe, what if I told you there are ways out there to help us with these commitments? It's like you waking up and there's a bodybuilder, somebody said, come on, let's go work out. What if that was there today? Would you take it?
I probably would.
And I'm saying there's companies out there, and that's who we have today. It's No Cell, it's Mike. And Mike, we're just going to call you Mike today. If we get you back on the show again. Oh, Corey. Sorry.
Corey.
Why am I saying Mike? Corey.
I don't know, 'cause
that last name got me all that last name's got me jacked up, I guess. I went with an easy name. Hey, Corey, good morning to you, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. I've been called worse, Rick, so don't worry about it.
I was thinking Mike all day. I think I really was stuck on that last name. Hey, tell us, how do you say that last name?
It's Wanarovich.
Wow.
Wanarovich.
Wanarovich.
Of course. I could have told you that.
Very simple.
Great stuff.
Hey, Mike, tell us a little bit about your company and what it is that you help this trucking industry do.
So we have the industry-leading anti-distracted driving technology, and what it is it's a solution that allows commercial fleets to supervise the phone for the driver and physically remove any of the apps from the phone that the fleet manager or risk manager does not want their driver to have access to while they're driving, while the vehicle's in motion.
Hey, Corey, hold on. Let me get it. Corey, it sounds a lot Big Brother-ish, so talk to me. I know you've got to get that question to you.
Oh, absolutely. So, companies have cell phone policies, right? So we give the company the opportunity to enforce their cell phone policy, because any policy that's not being enforced is a liability instead of an asset. The companies the ability to say, hey, look, the FMCSA says it's a hands-free policy, one touch, and so we are giving them the ability to enforce this policy by taking the number one distraction out of the cab, and by enforcing that policy by removing the apps that you don't want your driver on TikTok making videos while they're driving. As much as we love BCB Live, you don't want your drivers watching BCB Live when they're on the 69, right? I mean, you got to make sure that you can take that number one distraction out of the vehicle while they're driving. So we want every single driver to get to their destination and home safe every single night, without the distraction of the phone that gets in so many people in trouble.
Hey, so tell me this. So how is that working? I mean, how are you when the drivers are driving? I'm assuming it's speed related, right? If they're driving over X amount miles per hour, it then erases the apps or the ability to use those apps. How does that work?
So the app goes into policy when the driver achieves the speed that the fleet manager deems necessary. So at 3 miles, 4 miles an hour, the phone goes into policy and physically removes the apps. Maybe the fleet manager, this is great, you can whitelist whatever apps. So maybe the fleet manager says, you can use Google Maps, but I don't want you using Netflix and Facebook and all these other apps at the time that you're moving. So as soon as the vehicle gets going forward, in the phone, just like that, the apps are physically removed from the phone so the driver cannot access those apps whatsoever. If the driver picks up the phone, we don't want any DOT violations. We don't want that $11,000 fine or whatever it is now. We want to make sure that the drivers focus on the road and getting that next load to the next spot instead of worrying about the post or any of the buzzes, beeps, or dings that comes with having the phone on full blast the entire time.
I have a great question for you. That the way the drivers that you've put in these fleets that you've gone to and the success that you had, what kind of feedback have you gotten from the actual people that actually use the device? The drivers that are getting restricted while they use the device. What kind of feedback are you getting?
So initially, it's like, hey, big brother, you're not gonna supervise my phone. I want access to my phone. But then after about 10 days, they're like, hey, this is a lot less stressful. I don't have to worry about, what was that buzz? What was that ding? What was that notification, right? So they actually, the drivers that we talk to actually say it's a lot less stressful and that they can see all the other drivers on their phones on the road, and they're all over the place. So
I'm absolutely sure. You can actually
have very positive response.
Yeah, actually, you can see everybody else breaking the law. Once you start doing the law, you can see everybody else breaking the law. That's great. So you go into not only you do this individually and for fleets, right? You do it for both. You do it for personal and for fleet.
We only do it for fleets. We have another portion of the business that's working through some insurance carriers that'll bring it to all the moms and dads out there.
Nice.
So we focus on the commercial vehicles.
Well, my daughter, she doesn't know it yet, but that Jeep she drives is getting ready to be a commercial vehicle because we're going to plug that in on her. Hey, Corey, question for you. Is there a notification that goes out to somebody else that says, hey, I am driving right now, because they don't have that ability? Obviously, that app's gone. Somebody texts them. Does a notification go back to them saying, hey, the driver is on no cell right now, cannot reply back?
That is not yet released, but yeah, that's in the works. If they have that already on their phone, then you whitelist that capability, and then it can automatically text back saying, hey, I'm on no cell right now, can't drive.
Awesome. I like that. Hey, I do want one thing. Hey, Dylan, can you put up the mission statement? And Corey, I want you to speak to the company's mission statement as we put it up there right now. Can you see that?
Yep. This is what we do, right? We do get up early every morning because right now in California it's 5:17 a.m. So we're getting up, we're preaching the gospel according to No Cell. Our company founder is passionate about making sure that's we're tired of getting these stories every single day. Driver looks at his phone one time, 3 seconds, blows a red light and T-bones a minivan, or driver 20-year record of perfect service and gets distracted by his phone and misses an off-ramp. And I mean, there's just horrific stories every day. We are trying to put an end to distracted driving and put an end to these preventable crashes that occur every single day on the highways.
What positive results are you getting in by numbers? I would really like to know what kind of numbers are you getting back from the fleets that are using this in comparison when they were before you started using it?
So we're in the middle of a case study currently, and what we're finding out, the primary numbers are that phone handling goes down by 79% after the first 2 weeks. And we can check that because we have an alert system that as soon as a driver picks up a cell phone, then the fleet manager gets an alert and it drops a pin on the map. So that's the initial numbers. We don't have the full set of year-over-year numbers yet. but that'll be released after the first of the year so that we can get some actual case study numbers. It's tough to measure crashes that don't happen because the driver's not on the phone. So it's tough to measure what would have, a crash that would have happened that didn't happen. But what we're seeing is that the companies that we're engaged with have far less crashes once they put this technology. And it goes along with all the other technologies, right? You've got your inward outward facing cameras, your telematics, you've got all the other safety features. This is the final piece of the puzzle, right? This is proactive. Right? The cameras can see you pick up the phone. This is proactive. This takes away the distraction of the phone. The driver doesn't have to touch the phone because there's nothing on the phone that they can use at that point in time other than whatever the fleet manager deems necessary for them to get their job done.
Yeah, hey, listen, if you're a driver out there, if you're listening to this show right now, you have a question, hey, go ahead and type that out to Dylan and the producer. He'll answer that question. He'll get that question asked so we can get an answer from Corey on that. Hey, Corey, that technology, I just want you to know, it really does. It's absolutely phenomenal. Are you working with one of these organizations as well that kind of ties you to them? These don't use distracted driving. Those organizations. Are you part of anybody?
We're teaming up with the NSC, the National Security Council. In fact, we've got a meeting with them in October to be on their team to make sure the Just Drive and Arrive Alive, all the different campaigns that are going on right now. But the National Security Council, Safety Council, is number one that we're working with.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one of the things that we want to do as well. We want to help bring somebody in for BCB Live to kind of help get behind this this case, right? Because Drive Safe, we talk about it on this show all the time. For that spacing, that the situational awareness. There's no time to be distracted out there on the highway with these trucks. So great job. We love that information. Producer, you got somebody?
Yeah, so we actually had a driver who was wondering, so say that you have, somebody that you are like a family member, right? They were asking if we have a family member in the hospital and there's an emergency, would that still go through if we get called, or is that something that just stays blocked by the app here?
No, it's a very flexible app. So if you don't block the phone, the drivers can still, like the FMCSA, right? They can still receive phone calls via Bluetooth or their headset, either steering wheel controls or the headset. So they don't. If you don't want your drivers to not be able to receive calls, then they can still receive calls. It's completely up to the fleet manager, whatever your policy is. We don't make any policies for the companies. We allow the companies to enforce the policies that they already have in place. So if their policy is, you can receive calls, and you can still receive that phone call, so they don't miss anything. Also, there's always an emergency button on the splash screen. If you're on an Android device and you need to make an emergency phone call, 911 or wherever you're at, there's always an emergency button available to the driver at all times.
Yeah, so some music ones. We all listen to Pandora. The mapping, you say, those are all available. If we lift, what we're trying to take away is the ability to swipe right? I mean, we don't need you swiping right while you're driving down the highway.
Or running Netflix or watching YouTube, right? We're taking some of the things going on while you're behind the wheel running down the road that really takes those moments of focus and are really dangerous. Not that call that you can get in that hands-free device, but really that texting. You shouldn't be texting, right? You shouldn't actually never be texting.
Never.
And to me, that's the argument, right? If you're out there right now, you're complaining about Big Brother. They don't need it. But if you're not using it, what difference does it make anyway? That's the way I look at it. If you're not playing the video games, you're not playing the poker games while you're driving, well, what difference does it make? All it's really doing is helping you make that commitment, that pledge that you signed that says, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to use my phone for anything else. Drive Safety, that's what it's doing. It's what we were talking about. It's that help that says, you know what, I'm going to help you not break your promise, that pledge you made to not drive, distracted.
Corey,
that's exactly it.
I look at it like this in a great way. We don't put our seatbelts on because we want to be in an accident. We put them on as a preventive measure. So in case something bad happens, and I look at this as also as a preventive measure. This is to help keep us from getting into an accident. It's not there to hinder us or keep us from getting up or doing anything, but it is there to help us make better decisions, right? It's just a little bit better way to make great decisions while you're out there and not being distracted.
Yeah, I mean, on average, people check their phone 88 times an hour, right? I mean, that's at the bare minimum. So what we're doing is we're protecting the driver from themselves, basically, their habits that they've formed, or any driver, any commercial driver that has, the phone is addictive, right? You hear that buzz, ding, or beep, man. You want to see who sent what or who liked what or whatever. So you want to make sure that we're protecting the driver from themselves and from this addiction of the cell phone.
Hey, Corey, we have one more question, and then we have about 2 minutes in total. Hey, producer, who do we have?
So we actually had a typed out question here. So have you guys had issues with drivers finding a way around the whitelist system, and has that been a problem in the past?
I love that question. So it's bulletproof, right? So if a driver adds an app after the phone's already been put in the system, the app goes into the default off setting, and the fleet manager would have to whitelist that app. Wow. So there's no way to get around it as far as into an app. If the driver turns off Bluetooth to try and get away from it, or if they kill the app, the fleet admin gets an alert, and then the app is turned back on again by the phone, and the Bluetooth is turned on by the phone again. So it's pretty bulletproof, although we know that it's a cat and mouse game, so we have to continue to develop and make sure that the system is up to date.
Yes, we can find, and we do know that,
jailbreak the phone. Jailbreak the phone.
Hey, but we love what you're doing. Hey, you got about a minute, Corey. Is there anything you want to leave us with before we have to end the conversation here?
Our truck drivers and the commercial vehicles are the lifeblood of the United States, of the world, basically. And we want to make sure that those guys, they're getting hunted by the lawyers. We want to make sure they're off those cell phones so they don't get those DOT violations. We want to make sure they get home safe every single night to their families, so we can get rid of all these stories of the horrific crashes that are completely preventable by removing the distraction of the cell phone from the cab.
Hey, Corey, we want to thank you so much for being part of BCB Live. We love your commitment to safety and Drive Safe Dave. We know that we are searching for folks like No Cell, right? Companies that are out there to help protect this industry, help protect our drivers, and help protect the highway systems and get our families back home where they need to be.
Yeah, we appreciate we appreciate the endeavor. We appreciate the business, and you know what? We hope that it grows, and we hope that spreads across the country. Not only your technology, but all kind of technology that helps to keep everybody safe.
All right. Hey, Corey, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and stay safe out there, all right?
Thanks, you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, and have a great, safe day.
Thank you very much, man. Great stuff, Drive Safe Dave. Technology, again, it really does. It amazes me. That technology to be able to help us be more successful, to help us be a little bit safer on the road. I love that stuff, Drive Safe Dave, and I get it. If I'm a driver, if I'm out there, I don't want it, Drive Safe Dave, because I don't use it anyway. And again, my answer is, well, if you don't use it, why not take that temptation away?
Yeah, this technology that you speak of, has both good and bad, right? There's enough distractions on the phone, and there's enough that you can find to do on the phone and get kind of hooked on something, on that new game that you got going on, or that texting back and forth with family. You've got to get away from it, and this is a great tool. This is a great another tool in the toolbox to be safer, right?
No, I love it, man. It's no different than the technology in tractors today, right? There's so much technology that goes inside of a truck right now that helps you to stay alert, helps to keep you from going off the road, helps to keep you from running into the vehicle in front of you. It's technology. Ding, 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 ding. We love technology, especially when it helps us become a safer driver. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, we got to take a break. We will be right back. This is BCB, and what are we?
The safest station in the nation.
And welcome back to BCB Live. Hey, Mike.
I'm not Mike, and I'm not.
What's
Mark.
wrong? I don't know why I was thinking Mike, but you know what, though, Drive Safe Day? What I won't confuse are the amount of days of driving safe, and that is what?
Hey, we got them at 105 and 12. 105 and 12.
I'm so unsure of myself right now, I wasn't going to say it. You just told me 105. I don't know anybody now. We got Buckle Up Dale walking in the office, getting ready for his segment now. So I don't know anybody's name. What's going on? Hey, Drive Safe Day.
You just confused him over there in the green room.
Bob was like, I thought I was Bob. Am I Dale today? What's going on?
Great stuff.
Hey, that was some phenomenal stuff. And as we talk about these streaks, right, that we know there's a lot of luck involved in trucking. We've seen it. Boy, we've evaded, and we've seen it on the show, some of these videos that we have that have been so daggum close to an accident.
Right.
And it makes you wonder, was there a distraction going on? Were you distracted? Were you on that phone? Were you this close to having a royal flush? You know, maybe it was. It's the first time ever. I'm going to get a royal flush, and then the traffic stops.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused.
You know, the commitment to safety doesn't end and begin with a device in the vehicle. It starts here in your heart, and it starts with your application out there on the road. And you've got to remember, and what we're talking about today is that you commit to safety and not be distracted, and put the phone down. You may not have the device in the truck, but you sure have this one in the truck. Throw it over there to the side, put it face down. Do not text. Do not use that whenever you're out there on the road driving. Make sure you stay focused.
Hey, Drive Safe, Dave. There's an alarm going off. I think you're falling off the side. Is that you or me?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I threw the phone down. I threw it down.
Anyway, we had an alarm going off here. But look at that. Here it is. We're on live TV right now. The phone rings. It distracts me. It distracts you. Those phones are a pure distraction, and it's for real. It's a real distraction that takes your focus off what you're doing. And you know what? The fact that we're not looking at the camera, we got distracted, Drive Safe, nobody died.
Yeah.
When you get distracted on that highway,
the potential is everything.
Significant. A huge increase for that opportunity. Drive Safe, Dave, where are we at in the goal days?
We are at 12 goal days.
All right, we're going to hit that for a second. 12 days. If you were listening to the show earlier today, we talked a little bit about that infrastructure, right? We talked about Katrina. We talked about what we did as a country to make, Hurricane Ida not as bad. It was a worse hurricane as Katrina. Why? Because we did our jobs. We went in there. We made the levees a little stronger. We did our job on the infrastructure. We talk about the highway system, and when are we going to go fix these? When it's too late? And I'm going to ask you on this goal as we hit 12 days. We love that we're at 12. We want to be at 13. We need today to go on. We want the accident-free day to go to 106, 110 to 350 to 500. And it's all up to you. It really is a lot of this stuff. And on this goal, the last times we've had our streak 12 days ago, it was because we didn't get out and look. Before that, it was because we didn't get out and look. Before that, it was we didn't get out and look. And hey, guess what the one before that was? We didn't get out and look. And I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to plead with you, no different than this no-sell thing, is when do we start getting out and looking every time? Do we wait till we have another Katrina? Do we wait till that bridge collapses? Do we wait to get out and look until do we have to kill somebody first? Is that when it becomes pretty important? That's how serious that get out and look is. That's how serious that you've got to make yourself, you have to have that want. It requires action in the rain, snow, sun. It makes you get out and look. Why? Because dadgummit, you are protecting life when you get out of that truck. And if you don't feel that in your heart, I think you're undervaluing how important your job is, how important not being distracted is, how important your commitment to safety is. You've got to get out and look.
Yeah, you may have been doing this for 25 years, and you may have been doing it longer. But I'll tell you what, if you want the next generation to do it right, you have to teach them, and you have to lead by example. You have to be the one that actually gets out and does it so people can see you. Not only that, but in your heart you're doing the right thing. You're doing it right for going forward.
getting out and looking is something that you're going to have to change that you've done, not in the past every single time, but it is something that you're going to have to do each day, every day going forward. And I'm telling you, it's a commitment to safety. It is a commitment. It is your commitment. It is your desire, your will. Look, I know you've been doing it 25 years and you roll by the stop, you roll by that space and you put yourself in position. I get it. I've been doing it a million times. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. In fact, it is everything in the world to get out and make sure you save a life. You're not going to you don't want to get in a boat without a life preserver. I mean, you don't want the Titanic to sink to realize that you need lifeboats on the ship, right? It took a natural disaster like that, a bad disaster, for us to make a change. We don't want a bad disaster to happen backing up. We don't want that to happen before we make a change. We're asking you to be proactive. We're asking you to do it now, to make a difference now by getting out of the truck, walking back there, and making sure that it's safe to proceed.
Yes, and today's phrase that pays, it's going to help you in your commitment to get out and look. Drive safe, Dave. What is that phrase that pays?
Don't drive careless. Practice situational awareness.
One more time.
Don't drive careless. Practice situational awareness.
We'll be back in 1 minute
All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is Buckle Up Bob with some weather. As you can see, Ida has really weakened a lot. And so, again, we have got all of our roads open. There's still some no-go zones right there from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. Again, the interstates are open, but the side roads are flooded. There's still debris. There's trees down. So again, it's one of those things where the hurricane protocol has to take place. Where is the customer open? Do they have a way for us in there? And are they staffed to take care of the driver? So again, it's still listed as a no-go, but there is some cases where people might be able to get into certain areas. They do have a lot of debris and cleanup yet. Still only made about 75,000 gained on power. I've heard and read that a big electrical tower it was blown into the Mississippi River by Ida. So a lot of the lines and stuff are right in the river. That's going to cause some issues for weeks, they said, as they either get this tower out or rebuild it, however they're going to do it. But some major problems. So it just kind of gives you no matter what pictures you see, when a hurricane's strong enough to blow a steel tower into a river, you know just how dangerous those winds were. You can see we've got the 38 to 40 mile an hour potential gusts. So again, there's a zone up here in this area where you've got to be under 60 miles an hour if you're going to drive through there with the potential gusts. But it is passable. Everything is good to go green light there. But you just got to be safe and use that situational awareness as we talk about. Slow it down. You've got to slow your speed down. Watch the curves as well. You'll kind of see here on the weather radar, it just looks like a big thunderstorm now. You can kind of see the eye is right in around there at Huntsville, I guess. But you can see still pulling up some showers. We also have some showers up here in Nebraska and Iowa and in Missouri, up in the Kansas City, Kirksville, Missouri area. And then a few spotted ones out there in Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley, and West Virginia as well. So, again, getting more rain along that Gulf Coast. So as Ida moves up, it's going to the path is expected to kind of just start angling towards the northeast right now. So again, just now it's just not even a tropical depression anymore. It's just a regular storm system that has some 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Still the slight risk for tornadoes, so be mindful of that as you're driving through. Look at your local radar, whatever you got to do, the local stations to make sure that there is no hazardous weather. Right now, it does not appear to be anything more than a thunderstorm, which is really good news because it weakened quickly as we were hoping for. Again, over 1 million people without power. So again, you don't know where you're going to get your gas, fuel, what's open, what's not. So drivers out there, you got to make sure when you go into these areas and you get the okay that you still have plenty of hours, fresh hours, and full fuel tanks so that you can get into the customers if they've got away and then back out to safety. There's still going to be some looting. There's not going to be a whole lot of safe places. You know, you stop and think, if the truck stops are without power, you're probably not going to be able to park there for any reason safely anyway, because there's not going to have lights. They're not going to have the food, the gas. So you want to make sure that you can get in there and still have plenty of hours and fuel to get at least a couple hundred miles back out of there. That's going to be your safety net, because there's still going to be some traffic issues. Again, as these secondary roads are blocked, everybody's going to be taking more interstates in a second, so it's still going to be a lot of traffic issues, so you can expect a little bit delays as well. We want to make sure that we're thinking about all those potential situations as you get down here in the Baton Rouge to New Orleans area. Pretty much west of the Mississippi, they say, is pretty good. It's when you start getting east here, and here's the Mississippi. So when you start getting east of it, you still have a lot of huge power outages, and that's where the majority of it is, in this little corner of Louisiana and then the southern part of Mississippi as well. So our wind gusts as we go through the day, you can kind of see this afternoon. See, the area gets bigger, but the winds come down. It's just not quite as strong. Just a little pocket here of 40 to 45 mile an hour gusts in that western Carolina area. And then by tomorrow, you can kind of see it's just really like a normal day as we go. Same thing with the rain. You can kind of see where Ida is. This is what's left of her. You can still see a little circular, but not much as it pushes into southern West Virginia. As we said, starting to this afternoon, that it's just going to start kind of going at a 45 degree roughly to the northeast. From right here at Huntsville, you can see it just goes in 24 hours. It will be heading that way. So again, not a whole lot left over now. It's just cleanup and making sure that it's safe to send drivers in to the Louisiana area. The highways are open, but there's a lot of stop and go. Let's see, we got that, and I can show you real quick. So you see all the black dotted lines there? That is stop traffic. So again, most of it is going out. You know, you can see coming, this one is eastbound and northbound traffic is coming in and out of there in the Hammond area. So you can see all the trouble is still west of the Mississippi River. So everything back here looks open and doable there. So we shouldn't have any issues. No driver should have any issues there. And I think we had a lot of traffic accidents in Dallas area. So you can see a lot of stop traffic black in the Dallas area. And here coming out of Houston down in the Sugar Land area, some heavy traffic as well. So in that local area, Jackson, everything else looks really open. Birmingham, Atlanta even looks pretty good. A little bit of congestion up there in the north of Atlanta. So we got some good news. And again, it looks like cleanup is going to be able to start. And we should be able to get back to business or close to normal here in the next probably 12 to 24 hours. We'll take a break and we'll be right back with some videos and safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Buckle up, Bob. A great job on the weather there. Did you take a look at, or did you catch the interview with No Cell on the distracted driving?
No, I didn't get to. I couldn't log in for some reason this morning, so I was honestly, I went out.
Put that on the producer. You know what?
I honestly couldn't. I went out to the DMs. I said, "Are you all in?" And they go, "Yep." I said, "For some reason, it just froze."
The safety guy couldn't get on the safety call.
Go figure, right? Go figure. Now, I guess we'll go into the next subject. Hey, Buckle Up. What's going on with your report today, sir?
Hey, this week we're going about the BCBs of safety, and these are so critical, and you see them every day in the videos. I mean, every one of these we talk about daily, weekly, and we'll continue. I mean, I don't think you could ever let up on these subjects. And the second one is your increased space. You know, one of the things, and we're going to see some of that in our videos today as well. Rear-end accidents are the most common accidents, and they're usually the most costly because you have the injury that, and it's long term. You may not have a fatality, but usually somebody has a back or a neck injury, and these last for years. And so, the sad thing is, some insurance companies say you're almost better to actually take a life than you are to injure from a cost standpoint, not from a actual moral standpoint. But it's just that's how bad it is. And so, increased space, you've got to do that, and we do that by, as we did yesterday, slowing your speed. And so if you know this, and that these are the most costly, then why would you not increase your space and make your slower lane changes? We saw a couple slow lane changes yesterday. We're going to see some really good videos today where we backed off, and then you're going to see some things that happen way out in front of us that are they're really horrifying if you think about had the driver not backed off, how serious it could have been. So we're going to get to see some of those, but you got to increase the space. I mean, these first two BCBs of safety they're probably the foundation, if you will, for protecting life at every instance. Because if you slow the speed, if you increase your space, then your risk of an accident goes, way, way down by about 30 to 50% decreased opportunity. And if you decrease that 50%, that's 50% less chances of anybody losing their life.
Hey, Bob, question for you, Buckle Up. So what if there was a way to help us take away some of these distractions from driving, from the cell phone?
From the cell phone.
Is that a good thing?
That would be a great thing.
Great thing. If only there was a way, Drive Safe Dave, to take away some of these distractions. Boy, that could really reduce the cause of an accident. Have you ever heard of such technology?
No, Cell, I haven't.
No cell is the thing we talked about today, Buckle Up Bob.
Yes.
And that no cell, and you'll have a chance to watch this later on, but no cell it takes away some of these apps that drivers get focused on, right? The messaging app, Netflix, these things that the YouTube, things that can take away the distractions, the gaming.
TikTok,
yeah. All of these things, when they're driving, it takes them away and allows them to focus on the road to maintain their concentration on driving safe. And Buckle Up, Bob, I can't help but think of some of these videos we're going to see today. It's either distractions from the driver of the big truck or the driver of the vehicle, the four-wheeler.
Yes, absolutely correct. And I hate to admit it, but I was guilty of that until we took over this. Until we started showing these videos and I started seeing it.
Never guilty.
One of the things that I love to talk about with drivers is we have a false sense of reality on time management and what actually elapsed. We see it in our videos. We think we're saving all this time or losing all this time, and we're really not. And the same thing happened to has happened to me over in the past where, I look down at that phone for a minute or a second, what I think is a second or two. And the next thing I know, I'm almost going to hit somebody. And it's like what feels like 1 or 2 seconds is actually statistics have showed that it turns into 5 or 6, which major things can happen right then.
And to me, it all boils down to just the attitude. When you feel like you're in a hurry, everything seems slower, right?
Yes.
When you have that mindset, oh, I got to get there, or I'm in a hurry, then everybody's in the way, and you're not going fast enough. And that's the problem in and of itself. If you believe that you're in a hurry, then you are going to feel like you need to be, and you're going to make excuses, and you're going to make judgment calls that are not based on safety. So you can't do that, and you got to have that real mindset of, as a professional that most do out there, you got to have that mindset, you know what, I'm going to get there, and I'm going to get there safe.
Hardest thing in a conversation with a driver is to get them from what they consider a reason, a justification,
Oh.
right? There is no reason to do it, but they'll justify it as
good
a
point.
reason. And that's a hard, and here, that's not just with drivers, that's everyday life with other situations that we do are the same thing, where we use this as a justification, because I'll say, why did you run the stop sign, right? They'll say, well, nobody was there, and I know this time, well, that's justification. That's not the reason you ran it. What was the reason? And when you can't get them there, then I switch. I said, well, then why didn't you stop? Then you get to the real reason of why they ran a stop sign. I've got a stick shift. I didn't want to shift gears again. It was clear, so I didn't want to go through that, right? And so now you get to the root cause of why you did something. So again, it's always hard, and it's a very thin line between justification and an actual reason.
How about some videos, Buccalo?
Yes, we've
All
got some
right.
great ones, some scary ones too. Here's a great job of this driver owning the space, slows down, lets them over,
Textbook.
and creates the space.
Textbook.
Right? The
Everybody's
vision's gone.
driving away, right?
That's right. Vision's gone. And now you see that all the lanes are covered, so there's nowhere to go. Driver does just a phenomenal job here.
You know what? That's such a great video. The driver gets in front of our lane, and instead of getting closer, we back off to increase our vision, to increase our distance. Great job to the driver of this truck. Boy, that's a top 10er right there. We're going top 10. Next one.
Here's one again. Managing the speed. Again, everybody's moving away from this driver, so there's just nothing that can go wrong in the slow lane. Right, taking good time. I mean, it's just a phenomenal job. Again, love to see cars pulling away. You can't rear anybody if they're moving away from you.
You know, you look at the video, and great job by our driver doing the great thing. And what I look at, so many things going on the highway that you've got to make sure that you're paying attention to. You've got vehicles tailgating one another. You got trailer being pulled over on the right hand side. You've got other vehicles coming up, and they're tailgating one another. And you've got to make sure, and you've got control of your lane, plenty of open space.